Daylight Savings, published December 13th, 1999, by K.M. Holler. Chapter 1: The Return of Slasher. It was cold, bitterly cold. Sonic the Hedgehog shivered and wished he could curl up. But he couldn't, for heavy chains bound his hands and feet. The chains were cold, and hurt his raw wrists and ankles. They held him motionless and immobile, locked to the wall. He was lying partly on his side, with his back to the icy cement wall. He pressed his face against the cold stone floor and tried to fight the waves of pain that washed over him. It was almost a physical pain, for his heart was heavy and aching. He felt like crying, but he wouldn't let himself. No, he mustn't cry, for in a way it would be admitting Robotnik had won. But that didn't prevent Sonic from feeling sick. He wouldn't have felt so bad if he was all alone in the prison, for then he would have had the comforting thought that everyone at Knothole Village, the freedom fighters, would be planning a rescue attempt. But even this was denied him. Vivid was the memory of Knothole Village going up in flames, and the invading robots shooting their stunners. Next came the memory of all the freedom fighters chained together and dragged away to the prison. Robotnik had chosen it specifically, for although it was small, it was built with more security measures than the others. He had thrown everyone into the cells at the far end of the prison block, and locked Sonic into this end. On top of it all, he had chained Sonic hand and foot. Sure, he would never escape this time. The outside of the building was surrounded with the toughest of the SWAT bots as well, ensuring security. It was all these factors combined that was making Sonic feel heartsick. That and the memory of his friends' faces as they were led away. Not to mention Tails' pitiful, despairing cry as he looked back at Sonic and saw him powerless in the grip of the 5 SWAT bots. It was a cold November night. It was bone-chilling damp with a thick fog. Icy cold breezes stirred the mist and wafted in through the metal bars of the prison door. Sonic's cell was located directly across the hall from the door, and he received the full force of the chilly night. Sonic huddled up, desperately trying to get warm. His skin felt clammy and wet, and the cold draft felt like an icy whip. A bit of light shone in from a streetlight attached to a building a short distance away. Every so often, a big robot would clump by, its operational lights flashing hazily through the mist. Sonic shivered again and closed his eyes. He lay still for a long time, wishing he was a million miles away. Now, unknown to anyone, the cell Sonic was in was contaminated with a very virulent bacteria. This was the reason Robotnik didn't usually put anyone in that particular cell. For anyone left in it for any length of time usually died. Ivo had never bothered to find out why. And now, with each breath that Sonic drew, the deadly germs entered his system. The strain of bacteria was so infectious that if anyone was exposed to it, they would be flat out sick in a matter of hours. It was like a poison. Sonic had had a very large dose of this bacteria, and it was beginning its deadly work. The cold seemed to intensify until Sonic was certain icicles were forming on his face. Miserable, he sat up and leaned against the wall. His head swam, and he seemed to see bright lights in front of his eyes. "Uh-oh," he thought. "There's something wrong with me." He was so cold it was almost agony. He curled up as much as the cruel chains would allow and wondered why he felt so crummy. The answer was not long in coming. The fever heat started in his head, then quickly spread to the rest of his body. His temperature rose until he could no longer sit up, but had to lie down and rest his throbbing head. "Man, I wonder what I caught," he thought. "I never got sick so fast in my life. This is awful." The prison seemed to pitch and roll like the deck of a ship. Everything wavered before Sonic's fevered eyes. After a while, he found himself too weak to even sit up again. He began to drift in and out of consciousness, the fever doing strange things to his mind. Sally, one of the freedom fighters, seemed to be standing in the cell. She was about as tall as Sonic, but a light brown all over, with lighter stripes running down her face and ending at her nose. Her bangs hung over her eyes in a soft forelock. She was crying, "Sonic! Oh, Sonic! Help me!" Sonic opened his eyes and reached out, but she was not there. "Hallucination," he thought. "I've never been delirious before. This is weird." "Chili dog!" All of his friends paraded themselves through Sonic's head, each one acting so lifelike that Sonic couldn't help reacting to them. Last of all were Tails and, to his surprise, Knuckles. The red enchilada was standing before him, so lifelike in his usual pose that Sonic couldn't help but wonder. He had only met Knuckles once or twice. And why was he with Tails? As this went through Sonic's head, Knuckles looked down at him and said, "Hiya, Sonic. What you doing laying on the floor like that?" Sonic stared away, but the cell was empty. Unnerved, Sonic lay back down again, hating the fever for doing such bizarre things to his brain. He decided he wouldn't close his eyes again, but they kept sneaking shut in spite of him. The fever hallucinations set in again. Sonic lay still and watched entire movies in the silver screen of his mind. Perhaps silver. It's no use. It grew late. The icy cold fog thickened as the night wore on. Sonic sank into an uneasy sleep, unconsciously fighting the chains. He woke himself up after a while and found himself stretched out on the floor, hands reaching as far as they could, feeling along the ground. "That's dumb," he thought, his hand touching something, a small object. His fingers closed around it and drew it toward him. At first glance, he thought it was just a piece of pipe or something. A closer examination revealed it was flattened and pointed at one end. "A rusty old dog whistle," he thought, feeling something between disgust and disappointment. The feel of it was somehow familiar. He turned it over and over in his hot palm. The rusted surface bore several raised letters. Sonic wearily pulled himself into a sitting position and tried to make out what it said. The letters had been all but worn away from much handling. Somebody had used this whistle many times before. He looked at it, straining his eyes to see through the gloom, but he couldn't make it out. Curious, he traced the first letter with his finger. It was an S. The following letter was almost obliterated, so he moved to the next. It was an N. The next was an I, and the next, a C. "S something, N-I-C? Could that be Sonic?" As he spoke his name, he looked down at the whistle. To his surprise, he saw the S began to glow in electric blue. The color spread to the next, which was an O, as he guessed. Then to the rest of the letters. "Cool," he breathed in awe. The whistle began to glow a dull red, gradually brightening. Sonic watched it for a moment before he realized that the glow was producing heat. Startled, he dropped it on the ground and looked at his hand. He wasn't burned in the least, nor had he felt anything. Really curious and forgetting all about his fever, he picked it up again. It began to glow once more, but it still wasn't even remotely hot. As an experiment, he touched the glowing whistle to his butthole, damp wall, and listened to the sizzle and hiss of water on hot metal. He drew it from the wall and held it in his hand again. The red turned orange, then faded into white. As it did, it crossed his mind that maybe it could melt metal. He touched it to one of the chains that bound his leg and watched with amazement as it melted its way through the iron like a hot knife through butter. He unchained himself this way and found that he could feel heat from the melting metal, but not from the whistle itself. "Weird," he muttered. He tried to stand up, but his fever had weakened him so much he couldn't. He slumped down against the wall and considered melting through the cell's bars, but thought, "What's the use? I'm strong enough to free the others,
And what good is one little whistle against 15 SWAT bots?
Glumly, he stared at the whistle, still glowing in his hand. His name was energized in electric blue. He fingered the whistle and wondered how he knew, somehow, how the thing felt from all angles without needing to touch it.
I wonder what would happen if I blew it,
he thought to himself. Aloud, he mumbled,
Well, you whistle. Well, you whistle. What are you for?
Chill ran over him, for, as if in reply, another name below his. The letters were all in scarlet. Slasher.
Slasher,
Sonic murmured. The name brought back a flood of memories, places, faces. Good times, all long forgotten. Sonic swallowed hard and angrily wiped his eyes with the back of his hand. Back of one hand.
No crying now, you wimp,
he said to himself.
Chili dog.
He startled the whistle again. What were the signals? Slowly it came back to him. Clear as a bell, he remembered Slasher saying, I don't know. I have no fucking idea who this character is supposed to be. Oh, no, I lost my place. Oh,
one blast for cum.
Christ. Sorry, serious. 3 blasts for come quickly. 5 blasts for help, my life is in danger. Wherever you are, I will be able to hear these whistles and will come as fast as I can.
Whistles? Oh yeah, Tails had one too. 1, 3, and 5. I'll blow 5, because our lives are in danger. Good excuse.
Sonic brought the whistle to his lips, drew a deep breath, and blew it 5 times. It was silent. Sonic couldn't hear it. From further down the cell block came a sharp cry. Tails, who had been asleep, leapt to his feet and covered his ears. His hearing was sensitive enough to catch some of the frequency. Almost without thinking, he counted the number of blasts. 5. He moved to the front of his cell and yelled,
Sonic, your whistle! Where did you find it?
Sonic didn't answer. He was staring through the prison door and outside into the foggy night. Where is she? Slasher's a girl? Oh, fuck, he thought. His attention was drawn by a dark figure rounding the corner of a building. After a moment's scrutiny, he sighed, disappointed. It was not the figure he expected. This was either human or a robot. Or should that be neither human nor a robot? No. The dark figure was approaching the prison block. Sonic watched it desperately, dispiritedly. He heard the robotic voice of a SWAT bot snarl, Halt! State your identity and business! The figure replied in a low voice. Oh, fuck. Oh, figure, okay.
I'm your boss, and my business is none of yours.
Robotnik. Fuck. The robots let him pass. Oh, that was Robotnik. Okay, wait, let me read that again. The figure replied in a low voice, I'm Robotnik, and my business is none of yours. The robots let him pass. Robotnik advanced to the barred door and locked it. He swung the door open with a rusty screech and looked around inside the darkening building. Sonic knew he couldn't see by the way he stood in the doorway and let his eyes adjust. Slowly, Sonic moved the glowing whistle behind his back, hoping Robotnik hadn't seen it. Apparently, the doctor had not, for he said nothing. Sonic's eyes were drawn outside again by a sharp movement. Across the courtyard came a very large, black shape. It was really hauling. He gasped and drew himself up against the wall, staring. He knew exactly who it was, but it still unnerved him. He had forgotten how fast Slasher could run. She was the only creature alive who had ever outrun him. Oh, but somehow he loved her the more for it. And here she was again, streaking through the mist, charging at Robotnik's back. Robotnik had no clue. He had come out to make sure Sonic was still in his cell and was cursing inwardly because he had forgotten to bring a flashlight. He started to turn around, thinking to call one of the SWAT bots and use its headlight to see. He never got the chance. Slasher hit his back doing 75. I'm going to assume miles an hour. It felled him like a bowling pin. His head hit the pavement with a solid clank. Ivo was out like a light. The big velociraptor. Oh, Jesus Christ. The big velociraptor crouched over him, ready to rend him limb from limb if he moved. He didn't. Good one, Slasher! Sonic's good one, Slasher! Sonic called softly. The big raptor lifted her head, moved to the bars, and gripped them with both three-fingered hands. God. Sonic, I'm back. I can't believe I'm back. Her eyes glowed with muted affection. Slasher, get me out of here. There's something wrong with me. Slasher whirled around and began to frisk Robotnik's fallen form. I would really like to see that with three-fingered hands. After a few seconds, she produced a key ring. She stuck one of the keys in the lock and twisted it hard. The lock snapped open. She swung the door open with a protesting screech and stepped inside to help Sonic. She froze. Big body suddenly tense. She stood motionless for a few seconds, head moving in short, nervous jerks, nostrils flaring. This cell's infected, she said uneasily. I can smell it. Yeah, Sonic replied. I caught it. Help me. I can't stand up. Slasher scooped him up in her forearms. She eyed the glowing whistle and said, have a tight hold on it. While it glows, only the Master Emerald has more power. She turned to leave the prison, but Sonic said, Slasher, my friends, Tails too. All of them are in this prison. Help them out, Kay. She bobbed her head to acknowledge, then glided up the hallway. Everyone gasped at the gigantic creature and shrank back, but Tails recognized her and bounded forward. Thank goodness you're here. Get us out of here, please. Slasher unlocked the cell door with one hand and let Tails out. Hey, what's the matter, Sonic? I don't know who said that. Oh, okay, that was Tails. He got something that's major league sick. Everyone here, your friend. Tails looked around. The entire Freedom Fighter band is here. Slasher looked around at them and sighed. Sonic, give me your whistle. Wordlessly, Sonic handed it to her. It's starting to hurt. I can't talk like that anymore. Slasher ran her finger across his neck, her own name to charge it to herself. Then began swiping it through the cell's bars. Back and forth she went, slicing through the metal with the whistle. She was hacking through a jungle with a machete. The bars crashed to the ground like so much scrap, and one by one, the Freedom Fighters were released. They stepped out nervously, eyeing the big raptor with distrust. Tails was reassuring. Come on, guys. She's a friend. Hurry up. She's not going to hurt anybody. Except Robotnik, Slasher put in. Let's scram before he wakes up. She led them to the open door and fearlessly stepped out. Sonic, in her arms, stiffened and hissed. Slasher, the swap bots! Don't worry about them. I don't even care. She said to him and the others. She pointed off over several buildings to their left. It's been 20 minutes. A red glow lit up the mist. The SWAT bots were called away because of an emergency situation in the fuel station. Is it a fire? Sally asked. It was very nice of them to leave a flamethrower on a shelf in the station. Let's jam before the fire reaches the things of rocket fuel. As the last of the group stepped out of the prison, Slasher shut the door and locked it with Robotnik still inside, leaving him to rot. She dropped the keys on the ground in front of them. Door. Then turned to face the edgy Freedom Fighters. Yeah, I'd say so. All right, she said. Stick close. The fog is very thick tonight, so it'll be easy to get separated and lost. Because of Sonic's condition, I can't come back until tomorrow to look for anyone. Now, she looked down at Sonic's motionless form. Let's speed. Keyed. They were off. Slasher settled into an effortless, swinging stride that kept everyone else at a jog. She led them down dark alleys and and ill-lit back streets, keeping always to the shadows. They had only been in the they had only been on the move about 5 minutes before there was a thunderous explosion, and the sky reflected a bright orange glow for a moment. My first sabotage mission, Slasher muttered to herself. I did pretty well, I think. Sally heard her and had a feeling that this big creature would be running the freedom fighters before long. In the fog, the little group was nearly invisible. They proceed without a sound, strung out alongside and behind, but Tails and Sally stayed on Slasher's right and left. They hunt in packs. They didn't want to lose sight of Sonic. Sonic was curled up tightly with his burning face pressed against Slasher's chest. The warmth of her big body was wonderful to his chilled form. Slasher could feel that he was burning with fever, but he was sweating and already had a bad chill. Oh no. At last they made it out of Robotropolis. Slasher led them on a straight path across the plains and into the woods that faced the city. They kept going until they were a fair distance in, then stopped to make sure nobody had gotten lost. All there. Where to next? She asked them. They all looked at each other blankly. Well, said Bookshire, an old raccoon. I'd say Knothole, but it's been burned to the ground. Well, said Slasher, don't you have an alternate village where you could go in a case like this? Yeah, don't you have a backup village? You know, for emergencies. This thought had never even occurred to the freedom fighters. Slasher snorted at them. Smart punch you are. Oh, I just spit all over the place. Oh, fuck. God damn it. Fuck. She sighed. Oh, man, she's sassy. She sighed and looked down at Sonic again. Everything was quiet for a few moments. The only sound being the drip of moisture from the wet trees, from her wet pussy. Slasher bowed her head, eyes glittering fiercely, trying to figure out what to do next. One by one, the different creatures approached Sonic and looked at him anxiously. He was cradled in Slasher's muscular arms and was trembling with cold. He opened his eyes and looked at them miserably. Slasher's voice broke the silence. I know where we can go, but it's a long way, and those who are already tired, I'll carry on my back. How big is this fucking thing? She looked around at the circle of faces. Tails asked, how far is it? How far is it? About 5 miles. We only have about half a mile to go until we reach the trail, and that covers the other 4.5. Tails said without hesitation, all right. You can... Slasher crouched down and let him climb up. What about the rest of you? She asked. Sally stepped forward. Frankly, my dear, I'm just worried about Sonic. Let's get moving. We can talk on the way. There's no time to explain. Wait, Sonic. Wait, what? Sonic said hoarsely. Slasher, I'll die if I get any colder. Can you carry me under a wing? I can't take another hour of this. Wing? Everyone gasped. Looking at Slasher in surprise, she shrugged. Yeah, I got wings, but in the dark, nobody's noticed them. Yeah, I'm a girl and a gamer. She rolled her eyes. The next question is usually, what? You didn't know raptors have wings? You fucking racist. The next question is usually, are you a dragon? No, I'm not. I am a winged velociraptor. I'll explain everything later. Yes, please. I picked this at random. Fuck. She spread one of her broad feathered wings and placed Sonic in the warm hollow between it and her side. Whee. When she folded her wing back, Sonic was held securely underneath, but with enough room to be comfortable. Poor guy, she murmured. He's burning up, but he's shaking all over. Sternly, she looked around. Let's rip! Ha! Slasher turned left and the rest of the group followed her. For some reason, the going was just a bit easier than walking through the woods normally. It was as if there was a ghost of a trail they were following. Some places were as overgrown as the rest of the forest. However, and Slasher would have to stop and claw her way through. Then she would turn and help the others. Needless to say, they were all wet, cold and miserable after an hour of this. Sonic was curled up inside Slasher's wing and seemed to be asleep, but it worried Slasher. Little by little, she kept stepping up the pace. The freedom fighters traveled faster to keep up, but without noticing. They were tired and footsore. Shouldn't that be paw sore? And some of them were nearly asleep at their feet, on their feet. Only Sally still walked with a firm step beside Slasher. She didn't know if she trusted the big raptor yet, but Sonic and Tails sure seemed to. Jealousy? Sally puzzled over that for a long... Sally puzzled over that for a long time. Slasher seemed to know Sonic and Tails like the back of her hand. Claw, and they knew her the same way. Sonic had known about her wings, about being able to ride under one. Even Tails, who was now lying flat, nearly flat, along Slasher's back, dozing, could ride better than the others behind him. But how? When? Sally sighed. Slasher had promised a full explanation, and they would all get it sooner or later. Provided Sonic survived. Slasher was worrying about him as she strode along. Her agile mind worked hard as she concentrated on where they were going and tried to remember exactly what kind of disease Sonic had at the same time. The smell in the cell had given her a hint. It was a sweetish, sickly odor that the bacteria produced. Memories associated with that scent were not pleasant. As Slasher remembered more about it, she also recalled the treatment and cure. Every now and then, as they walked, one of Slasher's clawed hands would drop down, snag a leaf or a bit of bark, and transfer it to her other hand. Another hour passed, and she began to have a rather sizable bundle. At last she stopped. Everyone bumped into her from behind, but their complaints were hushed by 2 words from Slasher, "We're here." She stood still, head slowly turning this way and that, scanning the area for badniks. 5 minutes passed. All right, the area's secure. Follow me. They stepped out of the trees into a sizable clearing. In the center was one of the biggest trees in Mobius. It had to be 10 feet tall, 10 feet across. The spreading branches didn't begin for 50 feet. 50 feet up the trunk. "What are we doing here?" Sally asked wearily. Without a word, Slasher walked up to the trunk, inserted her long claws into a strip of bark, and pulled. A large bark-paneled door swung silently outward, revealing darkness within the tree. Most of them were too tired to appreciate this. Sally stared, open-mouthed. "What in the world?" "I'll explain later." Much later. Slasher interrupted impatiently. "This is the place, everybody. Come on in." She turned and entered the tree. The freedom fighters followed, Sally last of all. It was pitch black inside, and they could hear Slasher fooling around with something. I guess she can also see in the dark. There was the scratch of a match being struck. Lighting a match inside a tree. In the sudden flare of light, they saw Slasher light a propane lantern, and adjust it. The light revealed what looked like the inside of a regular cabin. Bunks were carved into the walls like lockers. Bunks. And a stone fireplace dominated half the room. There was a small store of supplies on several shelves, 6 feet above the floor. The room was small, but cozy. With all of them in it, it was kind of cramped. Slasher noticed this and told everybody to pick a bunk, get into it, until she had things arranged. There were only 5 bunks, so Sally, Tails, and Rotor sat on the floor. Slasher built a fire in the fireplace and burned the whole fucking tree down, and took several pairs of blankets down from the shelf and handed them out. Oops. A few more were needed to bed down the 3 on the floor. And then Slasher turned her full and undivided attention to Sonic. She spread several blankets on the floor beside the fireplace and took Sonic out from under her wing. He was in a dazed fever sleep. Slasher wrapped him up in another blanket and gave him a drink of water from a big keg in the corner. It was soothing to his tortured system. Slasher's green eyes looked him over several times, and the signs she saw were not good. He was fighting a losing battle and desperately needed help from the outside. Slasher took the bundle of things she had snagged out in the woods and crushed them in her hands. A strong, spicy smell like crushed mint spread through the room. She dumped the whole mess into a small bag and tied the top shut. Next, she took a small kettle from its hook and filled it full of water and hung it from a bar that ran crosswise through the fireplace. Slasher turned back for her friend. His eyes were open and following her. She crouched down beside him and looked into his eyes. They were clouded by fever. He shivered uncontrollably. The big velociraptor took him into her arms and held him close. Several feet away, Sally propped herself up on one elbow and watched her suspiciously. But what Slasher did came as a shock to her. The big creature bowed her head, closed her eyes, and prayed. Sally listened in amazement as Slasher humbly asked the Lord to heal her friend. She spoke partly in the tongue of raptors. Oh, I get this and that. God damn it. For it was in her own language she was able to express her emotions. Was Raptor Jesus around in 1999? Anyway, she prayed for a long time, speaking softly now and then, lapsing into raptor. When she was finished, Sonic had drifted off again. She gently put him down, then attended to the process of brewing a strong antibiotic out of the herbs. Small side note, I'm actually on antibiotics myself right now. Skin rash. This took around 20 minutes, and by the time it was made, Sonic was awake again. This time, he was fully functional and coherent. Coherent. Restlessly, he sat up and looked around. Where are we? He asked Slasher. A temporary shelter. How? Was the reply. I don't feel very good, Sonic continued. My head hurts and I'm dizzy. That's because of your fever. Drink this. It'll help your body fight off the disease. Slasher handed him a mug full of steaming liquid. She spilled it onto his crotch. Actually happened to me when I was a kid. I was in the hospital and my dad spilled a bunch of fucking tea on my lap. Sonic sipped it and made a face. Yuck, this is bitter, Slash. It's medicine. You're not supposed to like it. No kidding. Sonic drank a little more, watching Slasher the whole time. As soon as she turned her back, he looked over at Sally and pretended to throw up. What a fucking prankster. Slasher turned back around and saw him. Well, you haven't lost your sense of humor, that's for sure. Sonic managed to get down the rest of the medicine, but not without grimacing at every swallow. He shuddered as he handed the cup back to Slasher and lay down again. Gross, he muttered. He sighed and curled up in the blankets. A few minutes later, he was asleep. He slept the rest of the night, which wasn't really a long time, for the night was almost over anyway. Slasher watched him constantly, listening to his breathing, once in a while reaching over and feeling his forehead. Morning came and found the freedom fighters asleep in their respective bunks. Sally, Tails, and Rotor. Rotor's a gay one, right? Were sleeping soundly on the floor. I mean that like canonically. Anyway, I'm not making a joke. Calm down. Across the room from them. Sonic was curled up in several blankets, with Slasher stretched out beside him. The big velociraptor was not asleep, but seemed to be, for her eyes were half closed and the fire in them had died down somewhat. She was a little tired and felt as if she was the one fighting the disease instead of Sonic, but her heart was singing in victory, for Sonic's fever had broken and he was sleeping normally. Silently, she thanked her maker. The antidote had worked. Chapter 2. The Resurrection of Knothole. All right, guys. Slasher threw her weight into the rope harness, dug her feet in, and pulled. The ropes were attached to a 10-foot beam buried in the rubble of one of the huts that had been part of Knothole Village. Antoine, Rotor, Sonic, and Bunny Rabbit, oh, thank you, God, was behind the beam. Put up a picture of Bunny Rabbit. No. There she is. Nice. Where was I? Were behind the beam, pushing as hard as they could. For a few muscle-cracking seconds, muscles don't... Nothing seemed to be happening. Slasher gave a determined growl, but put her head down and flung her weight against the harness in short, rapid jerks. With a groan, the beam gave way, tumbling out of its resting place. Working as a team and arguing the whole way, they hauled it to one of the piles of recovered lumber, a short distance away. By the time they reached their destination, everyone had broken out in a sweat and was breathing hard. Let's get oiled up. Slasher slid out of the harness and said, "Good work, team." She picked up a battery-powered drill and a hammer and set the work pulling out renegade nails and 2 metal braces. It had been 2 weeks since that eventful night. They had all lived in hiding until Slasher was certain that going back to Knothole would not be too dangerous. Robotnik had been furious that they had managed to escape and that they had had the nerve to lock him in his own prison, and had sent scouting ships with 5 or 6 SWAT bots each to watch Knothole for a week, assuming the freedom fighters would head for home. Slasher had done some scouting herself. I forgot Slasher was a girl, and knew, did you just assume that raptor's gender? Whereabouts of every visiting hovercraft. She watched the robots from a distance as well, monitoring their movements. Robotnik eventually quit sending out to Swiggity Swooty, figuring out the group had headed for one of the Southern Freedom Fighter bands. So they're... God damn it. Now they were relocating Knothole. Slasher had found a new location further back in the woods. So they were salvaging what they could from the charred ruins of the former village. The robots hadn't done a very good job of pillaging. So there were still things to be found in the rubble. Everybody had found something belonging to them. All were cheerful, even on this gloomy, overcast December day. It's funny. Don't they live on another planet? Why would they have a month? Why would they have months? Why would there be the Lord? Anyway, it was damp and chilly. For after the fog had blown away, it had rained for the past week. Now it looked like it would snow. The cold was welcome to the labor force, as Sonic laughingly called it. Yeah, that's funny, Sonic. Fucking Christ. You're the funniest fucking... Already there was a pile of reusable stuff, and there was more to be had. It had taken Sonic a week to recover. The first 2 days were a little rough, mostly because Slasher wouldn't let him out of bed. But the last 3 days before Slasher started the salvaging, he was practically bouncing off the walls. He was one time. But now he was working hard, helping his friends do some heavy lumber moving. "Gosh," he said, leaning against the stack of wood. It's funny how this writer all of a sudden started putting quotation marks around the words where they would be talking. You grow. Wiping his forehead. God, I wish I could find that like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fucking fanfiction when I was a kid. I probably do have it. Anyway, this junk's heavy. Hey, Slash, how are we gonna move this thing? Oh! Slasher pulled a nail out of the wood with an ear-splitting screech before answering. What? Like she screeched or the nail screeched? Hey, I've got that covered. She stood up, tossed a handful of nails into a nearby bucket, and beckoned to him. "Come here, and I'll show you." She turned and trotted into the woods. Oh, no. Actually, anyway. Long tail swinging, Sonic followed. A few minutes of walking brought them to a small clearing. Parked there was a strange-looking hovercraft. If a hoverbike was the equivalent of a motorcycle, then this was the equivalent of a heavy-duty pickup. Sonic stared at it in amazement. "Slasher, where'd you get that?" Slasher grinned at him. Wouldn't you like to know?" She chuckled. "Actually, I kipped it. K-I-P-E-D. I've never seen that word before." Okay. "Out of Robotnik's big machine garage. I know a lot of clearance codes, and one of them worked." Well, ain't she a fucking smart cookie? "I got it out here unchallenged. I figured I'd leave it out here in the woods So if we got attacked, it wouldn't be, well, repossessed, if you catch my drift. Slasher and Sonic fucked. Chapter 3, Serena. At that very moment, chaos was erupting in Robottropolis. It started with a young hedgehog named Serena. I wonder if that's part of the fucking... I don't remember her. Several weeks before, Robotnik had invaded her home village and carried off all its inhabitants. Serena was an orphan and was living with a large family of rabbits. Hey. She had only dim memories of her parents. They had been killed in the Great War. But she had heard rumors of an older brother still living. She didn't know his name or anything about him or even cared. As far as she was concerned, the rabbits she was living with were her only family. Her life was shattered the day Robotnik and his SWAT bots captured the village. He needed more subjects to robotize. No, that should be roboticize. Anyway, and had his eye on the village for quite some time. They were all thrown into the dungeon to await robotization. At Robotnik's leisure. Day after day, a few at a time, the villagers were taken from the dungeon and never returned. Serena was terrified, but her scheming mind began to work after a day of imprisonment. By the time her turn came, she had pretty much figured out her only hope of escape. Weeks passed. Serena was the last in the dungeon, nervously awaiting her turn. She had observed the SWAT bots and how they treated prisoners. If you struggled, they tightened their hold on you so there was no way of escape. On the other hand, if you were limp with terror, they sensed you wouldn't be any trouble and didn't hold you nearly as securely. And this was what her plan hinged on. 2 SWAT bots entered the dungeon and unlocked Serena's cell. She automatically cowered at the far end, making them enter to get out. They took hold of both arms and dragged her out. As soon as she was out, she got her feet under her and walked along with the SWATs, giving them no resistance at all. Her swift mind was in play. To get to the robotizer, they would have to leave the dungeon, go through the main building, and walk the length of the fortress to the entrance. Serena matched strides with the robots, careful not to fight them in the least. They left the dungeon and the main building to walk along the side of the fortress. The bots relaxed their hold a little, secure in the knowledge she wouldn't try to escape. They had almost reached the entrance when Serena went into action. The young hedgehog stopped and almost sat down. The movement caught the SWAT bots off guard, jerking them to a halt as well. Before they reached a complete stop, Serena kicked her feet up over her head and did a backward somersault, using the SWAT's grip on her arms as leverage. This broke their hold, and Serena landed on her feet behind them. As the robot spun around, she went into a spin dash, and crashed into the bot's chest, splintering it. I guess they were made of wood. As it crashed to the ground, she turned to find the other one pointing a laser pistol in her face. Boldly, she reached out, grabbed the gun barrel, and yanked downward, and blew her fucking pussy off. The laser blast hit the ground in a shower of sparks. With a clever twist of her wrist, Serena snapped the gun out of her robot's hand. Man, she's strong. Flipped it around and shot him with it. Wow! All this took place in less than 15 seconds. It ended with Serena standing between 2 piles of smoldering metal and trying to figure out what to do next. Well, I could just stand here and look surprised when I get caught. That was kind of funny. Her imagination kicked on. She envisioned herself standing before Robotnik with the robotizer in the background. I don't know what happened, Doc. Those 2 robots just collapsed all by themselves. And as one fell down, its laser flipped out and landed in my hand. Okay. Yeah, right. Like he'd really buy it. If I ran, I have 50-50 chance of escaping. Ha! I know one place they'd never look. Serena jammed the pistol into her belt. She's wearing a belt. And ran along the side of the fortress. She tried the first door she came to, found it unlocked, and ducked inside. She found herself in an impressive entry hall. As she stood there, panting, she heard footsteps coming up the corridor to her left. Wildly, she looked around for a hiding place. She spotted an insignificant-looking door off to her right and dashed to it. The knob turned easily. She whisked inside and closed the door softly behind her. Then she looked around. It was no closet like she had first thought. It was more like a castle turret, with a circular staircase winding up to the roof. Curious, Serena started climbing. Her bare feet made no sound at all on the thick carpet as she made her way up. After a few minutes, she dropped to all fours and climbed with less effort. I hope whatever's at the top of this thing isn't worth it. Is worth it, she thought. Gasping, she arrived to the top. She was a little dizzy from all the circling and had to rest on the top step. After a few minutes, she looked around to see a door just around the corner. It was ajar. Curious and cautious at the same time, Serena crept to it and peered around it. It was Robotnik's bedroom. I see how she's going to get out of this one. He had taken the best from all of Mobius and used it to furnish his room. The carpet was a deep red plush, and a canopied four-poster bed took up one entire wall. There was a desk, several assorted armchairs, and a big screen television. The room was dark, but light entered through a gigantic plate-glass window that looked down on Robotropolis. What caught Serena's attention was light coming from a side room. The door to it was pulled too, a white light streaming through the cracks. She crept across the richly furnished room and looked into the adjoining chamber. A wondrous sight met her eyes. The room was only a third of the size of the bedroom and was stacked from floor to ceiling with computer equipment. It was all connected to form one huge computer. It took her a second to realize that this must be Robotnik's main computer, the one that controlled everything. Good thing it's so well secured. Oh, I lost it. Where am I? A few minutes of wide-eyed staring later, she noticed the monitor and the figure seated at the keyboard. The person was seated in a gray swivel chair and was typing madly. His back was to her, and it didn't look like Robotnik. Yeah, he was too small, horizontally and vertically. Serena watched him nervously, then let her eyes scan the room again. This time, she saw several boxes stacked in one corner. Before she had time to see anything else, however, the person in the swivel chair stopped typing, gave enter a vicious stab, then leaned back, staring at the screen. Serena squinted. She wished she could see his face instead of just his back. She was startled by his voice as he grumbled aloud, come on, the robotizer should be on by now. He picked up a small microphone and said, come on, Doc, I'm waiting for the robotizer to kick in. Kick on, even. What's the holdup? Through the mic came Robotnik's voice, and he did not sound happy. I don't remember. The subject somehow managed to smash her escape. His voice dropped to a venomous whisper. She was a hedgehog. Ah, the figure in the chair replied. So her fate was sealed, eh? Need help hunting her down? Yeah, come on down. She can't have gone far. Leave the computer on. I want to look at porn later. With a sinking sensation in her chest, Serena turned to hide. She knew who they were talking about. Wildly, she looked around for cover, then, on impulse, dove under the bed. To her dismay, it was crowded with heavy boxes, but by shoving desperately, she managed to work her way a good 12 inches underneath. She felt more than heard the footsteps of whoever it was, and watched his feet walk past the bed. He was wearing flashy red and yellow high tops. God damn it! I knew it was going to be fucking Knuckles. High tops, almost booted, trimmed with a gleaming metal and green socks. The Jamaican fuck himself. He walked to the door and paused, looking around. Serena couldn't resist moving her head a little to see who it was. She didn't recognize him. A bright red enchilada. He had a pointed face, long dreadlocks, muscular chest and arms, and a white crescent on his chest. A few seconds later, he turned and left the room, closing the door. I had a cramp. Closing the door behind him. She waited a few minutes to be sure he was gone, then rolled out from under the bed. Feeling a bit more secure now that she was alone, She trotted into the computer room for a closer look at the machinery. The whir and hum of the computer was alien to her unaccustomed ears, but she examined the screen with interest. It was a lot of numbers and computer code, coordinates for the robotizer. I'm never going to get that right. She swallowed uneasily. For some reason, Robotnik had it in for her. He hated hedgehogs. I wonder why. Well, I can give him a reason to hate me. Let's try a hand at vandalism. With her mind on destruction, Serena looked around for a possible way to trash the computer. She made a list on her fingers. Well, viruses wreck computers, power surges, magnets, water. She looked at the screen again. Amateur hackers. With her mind turning over the 1999, folks. With her mind turning over these options, she slid the boxes out of the corner and opened them. She found herself staring at several different joysticks, a gamepad, and stacks of game CDs. Nothing that would work. She closed the boxes and put them back, wondering who would have all that game stuff. Probably some fucking nerd. Remembering the boxes in the Robotnik's bed, the youngster trotted into the next room, got down on all fours, and yanked the first box out. And then she yanked on her box. It felt like a ton of bricks, and the cardboard all but ripped in her hands. Curious. How was she? She opened it. She opened its sealed top, thinking maybe it was spare robot parts or something, and found the box full of big circular magnets. How lucky. Like the ones in speakers. A thick padding of styrofoam separated one layer from the next. Thrilled, Serena took out 4, stuck them together, and carried them back into the computer room. There she wrenched the magnets apart and stuck them to the computer in various places. At first, nothing seemed to be happening. Disappointed, she looked at the screen and saw it was a blur of fuzzy colors, which flashed and sizzled frantically across the monitor. Serena snickered and said, "This is your brain normally." This, she pointed to the screen for the, see, for you young kids, that's a commercial for drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions? She pointed to the screen for the benefit of an imaginary audience. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions? How would she know about an Earthican commercial? She was interrupted by a strange buzzing sound within the computer. It crescendos to a scream, and the machine began to spark and smoke. It looked like it was about to blow up. Serena lost her nerve and bolted for the door. Fucking pansy. She got 5 steps down the carpeted stairs when she heard someone bellow like a mad bull and thunder up the stairs. Somehow she knew it was Robotnik. She lunged back up the steps, leaped behind the door, and waited. Robotnik had an elevator, so he wouldn't have to climb the stairs. But the computer down. With the computer down, nothing worked. He had to take the steps. He was so mad, he was charging up them 3 at a time, swearing with each breath. Halfway up, he had to rest, so he made use of this and pulled out a handheld communicator. "Knuckles!" he bellowed. "Get up to my bleeping office right now!" He paused for a breath, then continued in a slightly softer tone. "Something happened to the computer, and you were the last one on it." Ivo could be heard all through the building. Serena cringed and thought, "Oh man, if I get caught, I really will be dead meat." Stamping, sweating, and snarling, Robotnik charged into his bedroom. He flung open his door with such force it hit the wall, chipping the plaster. It missed Serena by an inch. She waited until he had entered the computer room before slipping out. Not wanting to be anywhere near the smoldering human dynamite when it exploded. Serena fell more than ran down the stairs, but even halfway down, the building seemed to shake when Ivo discovered what had happened to his central computer. Serena was looking over her shoulder, back up at the stairs. Then she ran into someone. It knocked them both over. It was the red enchilada. He stood up. "Hey, watch where—" He broke off as he saw her. He recognized her as the escaped hedgehog. He said no more, but his eyes flamed as he jumped at her, wrestled her down, twisted her arms up between her shoulder blades, and marched her back upstairs to her toes. On her toes. Robotnik met them at the top of the stairs, his face a mask of fury. His gigantic mustache stuck straight out, and it looked angry too. He was about to scream at Knuckles, but stopped short as he saw Serena. He stared at her as Knuckles explained, "She ran into me as I was coming up the stairway. I figured she must be the runaway hedgehog, so I snagged her." Without taking his murderous gaze from Serena, Robotnik hissed, Take her in and look at what she did. Knuckles marched her in and looked at the computer. He was shocked. Robotnik had unplugged it first thing, but the machine was obviously wrecked. At the sight of it, Nux was gripped with a rage that nearly equaled Robotnik's. He tightened his grip on Serena so much she winced in pain. He rolled around and walked her out. Robotnik's voice was very soft, but it bellowed the murderous hatred beneath. Take her out to the testing lab. Robotnik, her would be kind. Roboticizing her would be kind. I love my computer so much. I will not treat her kindly. His black eyes bored into Serena's. Believe me, Hedgehog, by tomorrow night, you will wish you had never been born. You will pay for this damage. With every drop of blood in your body, you will pay for it. Stunned, Serena let Knuckles march her down the stairs and out of the fortress. He was snarling and muttering under his breath, his mind on the computer. As they left the fortress, he snarled, "You have no idea how many saved games you erased. I worked for days on that level, and just as I baited, you had to fry the computer." Knuckles continued breathing indignation as he guided her along the side of the building, back toward the prisons. As they walked, Serena saw the two crumpled swap bots still laying on the ground. The sight sent her mind into action. Her body followed a swift second later. She dropped like a stone and flopped on the ground. With her arms twisted behind her in Knuckles' iron grip, this really hurt. She grasped as pain shot through her shoulders. At the same time, Knuckles stopped and leaned over her to drag her to her feet. That was what she wanted. Serena kicked her legs up, knocked her knees around Knuckles' head, and swung him up and over her. He hit the ground flat on his back with a kind of whooshing grunt. Serena leaped to her feet and fled as Knuckles doubled up, gasping for air like a fish out of water. It took a few seconds for Nux to get a decent breath, but as soon as he did, he grabbed his comm lock. He grabbed his comm link? Why is there such a huge space between his and comm? Doc, he choked into the microphone. She got away. Send reinforcements. Robotnik's answer could be heard all the way outside. His language was a deep blue in shade. Knuckles winced and held the comm. He did it again. Oh, there's a fucking... Oh, asterisk. You dick. At arm's length. As Robotnik was cursing, he was plunging down the stairs 4 at a time. A few minutes later, he burst out the door, breathing heavily, a look of frenzied rage in his eyes. He skidded to a stop with an oath when he saw Knuckles. The echidna looked up at him, and the look on his face was grim and cold. She hurt me, he wheezed. Kill her. Robotnik... Robotnik switched channels on his comm and said, calling all swap bots. The red alert, escaped prisoner. He looked down at Knuckles, who gasped, She's dark violet, almost blue. Gee, I wonder who she is the sister of. Ivo continued. Number 1 priority, Hedgehog. Apprehend. Capture alive. He switched off the mic, then sneered. She looks enough like Sonic to be mistaken for him by a robot. And believe me, he said, looking across Robotropolis, she will be captured. Chapter 4. Serena's escape. Serena was tearing across Robotropolis at remarkable speed. I think I'll get that word right at one time. At remarkable speed. Fear and adrenaline adding wings to her feet. Literal wings. So far, she had seen no swap bots, but had seen several roboticized citizens of the city. The sight of them reminded her of what they intended to do to her, and her speed increased. She kept to the back streets and alleyways, setting a straight course out of the polluted city. She had run for a good 5 minutes before a SWAT spotted her, called its buddies, and the chase was on. The robots had the advantage, for they knew the layout of the city, and she didn't. The metallic sounds of the SWATs behind her filled her with terror, and she ran like a scared rabbit. Probably because she was raised by rabbits. It was a nightmarish experience. Serena just knew. She would turn a corner and find a dead end. She thought of the pistol still jammed in her belt. It hadn't been noticed when she had been caught and was still there. She didn't want to use it, though, for that would mean turning at bay and fighting however many robots were behind her. She cocked her ears backwards, listening to the metallic footsteps of her sinister pursuers. sinister pursuers. Serena was really faltering by the time she reached the garbage dump, which formed the outskirts of Robotropolis. Hey, I did it. When she saw the piles of garbage and rotting discarded machinery, her heart sank, thinking she was trapped. In desperation, she ducked into it and wove her way through like a gigantic obstacle course, always heading the same direction. The SWATs were slowed by the loose garbage. They weren't as small or light as the young hedgehog and couldn't leap and bound as she could. She could and did. Serena was beginning to tire. A terrible cramp was developing at her side, and her breath came in shallow, ragged gasps. Still intent on her pursuers, she didn't notice the junk was thinning out. She was leaving Robotropolis behind before her stretched 5 miles of open plain, bordered by the great forest. Serena lifted her head, saw the great empty space before her, and her heart plummeted to her toes. She couldn't face racing robots across that. With grim resolve, she stopped, turned, and drew the laser pistol from her belt. Holding it in both hands, she set it on rapid fire and held it up, ready to shoot as soon as she eyeballed the first robot. The SWATs had broken up, fanned out, and emerged in 2s and 3s from the dump, scanning for priority hedgehog. As they came into view, Serena took aim and fired systematically. She was a good shot. Every blast hit a SWAT in the head or chest, blowing it to bits. One bot was carrying a blaster rifle. Serena shot the robot, then darted forward and snatched the rifle. Jamming the pistol back into her belt, she cocked the rifle and resumed firing. 20 robots later found Serena still standing her ground, slowly looking up and down the dump for more attackers, but she was alone. She had won the skirmish. Not quite believing that she was victorious, she counted how many bots she had blasted. There were 37. 37? In a row? The hedgehog frisked each robot and exchanged her pistol for a better one. She also found a gun charger that would reload the guns with energy. Then, with the blaster rifle slung over her shoulder, the pistol in her belt, and feeling quite dangerous, she headed for the great forest. Scene change. A few hours of alternately... Oh, I'm sorry. That meant sometime later. A few hours of alternately walking and running round found her in the woods, headed back to her village. Serena was quite wood-wise. Her hearing and sense of smell had been honed to a fine edge. Tell me, Gallows, if I shit in a bucket, would you eat it? Yes, you would. For animal qualities had been important in her village. Is that suggesting that in some villages animal qualities are discouraged? What would They had been dulled by her long stay in the prison, so it was perfectly wonderful to be outside again, to breathe the fresh cold air and feel wet cold leaves underfoot. She didn't care that it was freezing cold and cloudy. Being free was enough to make it all delightful. As she traveled, she occasionally circled back to catch the breeze for any sound of pursuers. But no one was following her. She had taken out the first wave of SWATs, and they hadn't had time to regroup yet. By the time they did, she would be long gone. As she made her way through the forest, she thought about what she would do. She was going home to get supplies for living out in the woods. What to do after that? Her thoughts turned to her brother. I could spend my time trying to find him, I guess. Too bad I don't know his name. If he really exists. He's probably about 14 or 15 by now. Heck, this won't be easy. There aren't that many hedgehogs in Mobius nowadays. So then it'll be easier. Just finding a hedgehog would be a challenge. How? Stop questioning the fan fiction, Matt. Just finding the hedgehog would be a challenge. I wonder if he's even alive, or if he's been robotized, or what, Serena sighed. Another hour of hiking brought her to the charred remains of her former home. She wasted no time in staring around forlornly. Good word. But cut across the clearing and stepped into a nearly invisible trail. It didn't look like a trail to someone with less experience, but Serena knew all about it. Many times her bare feet had followed it to its destination, along with her friends. Now she followed its familiar twists and turns easily as it wandered aimlessly through the trees. Turns weren't The turns were necessary to lose any spies. The turns were necessary to lose any spies that might be following. It made the path hard to see, but Serena followed it quite easily. It ended in a little clearing that was more like a gap in the trees, built around the base of a built around the base of a tree trunk was a cunning little fort. It was cleverly camouflaged by branches and brush. Serena and her friends had built it and had hidden in there. It was their secret clubhouse. The youngster walked up to it and pulled aside two leaning boards, which served as a door, and entered. Inside were a couple of chairs, some boxes, and other miscellaneous objects. Serena, relieved that the clubhouse had been left undiscovered by the robots, stepped over to a pile of burlap sacks, pulled them aside, and revealed a hole in the dirt floor beneath. In it was her backpack and a few treasured belongings. Serena sat down and opened her backpack. In it were her pocket knife, her precious flint and steel, and a pocket flashlight with several sets of batteries. She put several things in, including her shoes that, fortunately, had been left there. I'll want these later, when it gets really cold, she thought. Then she turned to go back to the village. She would see if she could find anything worth keeping. As she felt, she paused and looked back at the little fort, thinking sadly of her robotized friends. She would probably never see them again. And then it hit her. Why not join the freedom fighters? She's as good as dead. She's as good as dead anyway, as dead. They might know something about her brother, don't they? And she could help in the war for freedom. Thus cheered, she headed for the village. Serena found what was left of her home and managed to salvage a few items she thought she would need, like blankets. All went into her pack. It was getting dark when she finally left. The young hedgehog had tears in her eyes as she turned her back on what had been home and plunged into the woods. Chapter 5, The Discovery of Danger. 2 weeks passed, and Knothole Village was nearly rebuilt. Slasher there as supervisor. I forgot about Slasher. How the fuck did I forget about Slasher? There as supervisor, overseer, and architect, boss, pit crew. Things were running smoothly. The village had slightly different layout than it had in the old location. Each hut was visible from the air. Of course they were. A tree sheltered each one, and at the same... Oh, I'm sorry. Each hut was invisible from the air. Gotcha. Smart. A tree sheltered each one, and at the same time served as a windbreak. I guess that would be important. Everything was going great. The Slasher seemed troubled. She was a little too quiet. And in the evenings, especially because she was such a fucking motor mouth, and in the evenings, it was not raining. In the evenings when it was not raining, she would steal off by herself and be away for hours. One night, Sonic went looking for her. He found Slasher at a small lake about a mile from Knothole. She was lying down, forearms crossed in front, hind legs folded comfortably underneath. She was also completely motionless, staring out across the water. She was perched on a big boulder and screened by overhanging trees and brush. Sonic knew she liked to come to the lake. He also knew she would be invisible in the dark to all but the sharpest eyes. So he cheated. He took along some infrared goggles. Had a little scamp. Even with them, she was hard to find. He finally spotted the big raptor and tried to sneak up on her. It was twilight, so he didn't think she'd see him until he surprised her. He got within 10 feet of her before she said, "Hi, Sonic." His cover blown, Sonic climbed up on the rock beside her. "How'd you know I was here? I thought I was pretty quiet." "Not quiet enough, though. I could hear you as you looked for me. And I knew when you spotted me." "How?" "Oh, I could tell by the way you were moving." For the first time, she looked over at him. And I didn't have night vision goggles. Embarrassed, Sonic took them off. He knew Slasher didn't approve of using machines for hunting. Well, good for fucking her. "What are you doing here?" she asked after an interval. Sonic shrugged. I want to know what's wrong with you. I want to know what's wrong with you. What's wrong with me? You've been acting really uncool lately. Like you aren't understanding what's been, like you aren't interested in what's been going on. What's the deal? Slasher turned away with a deep sigh and was quiet for several minutes. When she turned back, her eyes looked strange, a haunting, haggard look. It startled him. Slasher, what's wrong? He asked, alarmed. For answer, she looked up at the sky and pointed to the south. Do you believe in Jesus Christ? Do you see that star cluster? The little blurry patch to the left of the pine tree? Sonic looked. Yeah, what about it? Eyes fixed on her. On it. Eyes fixed on it. Slasher replied in a low voice. It doesn't move. Sure, it moves because of the rotation of the planet, but it never shifts position. It never sinks lower after a few weeks or rises after a few weeks. Neither do the other constellations. Sonic felt a chill of foreboding run down his spine. What's that mean? It means, Slasher replied grimly, that Mobius is locked into a space-time continuum. Really? Huh? Slasher sighed. Like, you fucking idiot. You don't get it? The whole universe, as far as we can tell, is all in the same time frame. It's called the space-time continuum. Well, Mobius has been locked into a separate time. Our time is different from that of the rest of the universe. That may be okay for right now, but it means trouble in the long run. Why? Our solar system revolves around our sun. The system is moving through the galaxy, and the galaxy is traveling through space. Now, if Mobius is no longer in the same time frame, it gets left behind. Sonic's eyes widened, and Slasher saw most of the blood had drained from his face. You're kidding! Slasher slowly shook her head. I wish I were. Mobius's orbit is already starting to decay. Winter has been colder because the planet is a little further from the sun. Summer will be hotter because it's just a bit closer. Eventually, gravity will take over and will either hit the sun or be hurled out into space. She paused. But if we could free the planet from the continuum, its orbit would be able to stabilize. If we wait even 3 more years, it will be too late. Sonic felt like he was sinking with nothing to hold on to. He put his arms around Slasher's neck and held on. Oh, Slasher, he breathed. It was all he could say. Oh, Slasher. She put an arm around him. You wanted to know what's been bothering me? Yeah, Sonic murmured. You don't worry about anything small, do you? Well, I wouldn't say that. Oh, wait. Sorry, Sonic said that. You don't worry about anything small, do you? Well, I wouldn't say that, Slasher replied. You're small, and I worry about you. They were quiet a few minutes. Sonic broke the silence by saying hopelessly, but how do we free Mobius? Is the continuum natural or what? No, Sonic, it's not natural. It's man-made. Sonic sat up and looked at her. Say what? Slasher put her head to one side and looked into his eyes. Think back, Sonic. Think back, Sonic. Remember when Robotnik first took control of Mobitropolis? Yeah, a few years ago. Do you remember a day when the light changed colors and the planet suffered from massive earthquakes? Sonic's brow furrowed in thought. Wait, yeah, I do remember a day something like that happened. I was scared and just hid until the shaking stopped. Why? Because that was the day the planet entered the continuum. Robotnik somehow locked Mobius into it, and that's where we've been a long time. Sonic looked puzzled. What for? What would it accomplish? Well, I've come up with 2 reasons. One is to keep anyone in space from landing on Mobius, like, say, from Earth. Dun, dun, dun. The second reason is that if Robotnik fails, he figures the planet will self-destruct afterwards. So he wins either way. Sonic was glowering. What a jerk! Doesn't he know how close he is to dying with the planet? Slasher shook her head. From what I've gathered, he has no clue. But I have to figure out a way to destroy whatever mechanism he has for maintaining the continuum. She got to her feet. Well, it's getting late. Let's head back. Hey, want a free ride? Sure! Sonic swung himself up onto her back. Slasher spread her wings, crouched, and sprang off the rock into the motionless, starry sky. Chapter 6, in which Serena joins the freedom fighters. Oh, spoilers! It was early morning. The forest was motionless as the sun arose above the eastern mountains. Birds, who had been warming up their feathered throats, burst into full song. 2 to the 1 to the 1 to the 3. As the sun's first rays shone down into the trees, Serena stirred and pushed back a low, hanging tree branch. She had spent the night on the ground, curled up with her back against the tree trunk and heavy blanket around her shoulders. But it was morning again, and she rolled out from under the tree and looked up at the sky. It was clear and cloudless. Another fine day, Serena murmured. Another fine day, Serena murmured. She had slept with her shoes on. Now she took them off to go barefoot again, Kate, and folded her blankets. She opened her backpack and took stock of her supplies. She was nearly out of food. She had enough to last another 3 days, but that was it. Too bad I don't have any money, she thought. She was not afraid to work, but was hesitant, for she was a lazy nigger. For she knew Robotnik probably had a price on her head by now. I guess they have like fucking traders. Yeah, they probably do. For 3 weeks, she had lived in the woods, sleeping where she could and avoiding all robots. She had been to the freedom fighter bands further south, asking about her brother. Some had been kind, others suspicious, but none had heard of him. Really? I guess Mobius must be a huge fucking planet. Discouraged, how would the other freedom fighters not know? She's not specifically asking for some. No, she would say it might be a blue hedgehog. Fucking Christ. Discouraged, she was headed for the last band she knew of. If they hadn't heard of him, she would give up and simply join the little rebellion. Oh, tisk. Serena knew the village was somewhere in the area, but felt she was looking for a needle in a haystack. Someone at another band had told her Robotnik had discovered it, captured all the freedom fighters, and burned the village. Somehow, the band had managed to escape and were rebuilding somewhere else. But where? And if I know freedom fighters, it will be so well hidden, I'll never find it, Serena thought. But it was worth a try. She had nothing else to do. Yeah, because she won't work. Fucking bitch. Serena shouldered her backpack and walked down the stream. The night before, when she had found it, she had made sure it wasn't flowing out of Robotropolis. If it was, then you could bet it would be polluted. Contaminated streams were marked with biohazard signs every few feet, but it wasn't hard to tell anyway. The water would be multicolored. This stream, however, flowed from the mountains and was fresh and clean. Fresh and so clean. The young hedgehog drank from it and washed her face and hands. Then she put on her pack and headed north, following the creek. After thinking about it, Serena had narrowed village locations to a few possible places. She knew they needed water. It wouldn't be too far from Robotropolis. The other bands praised the inhabitants of Not Whole Village for their hit-and-run sabotage operations. So Serena was following the stream. She figured that she would follow the creek until she reached the mountains, then would double back and trace its tributaries. That way, she hoped to find Knothole. The fact she was nearly out of food, though, worried her. It meant her searching time was limited. Serena thought about it as she walked upstream, eyes on the ground. And scene. Serena thought about it, a calm blue ocean. Serena thought about it as she walked upstream, eyes on the ground. She traveled for an hour without really noticing her surroundings, vaguely aware of the sun's winter warmth on her back. Her eyes followed the muddy bank of the stream beneath her feet without interest. That is, until she caught sight of a very large footprint. It stopped her dead in her tracks. She bent down and studied it. It was a robot's footprint, perhaps SWAT-bot. But gosh, it was huge. It was 5 times larger than a regular SWAT's foot. She gingerly placed her own foot inside it and found the print was much larger than her own. Well, what was eerie about it was that it was fresh, very fresh. Serena lifted her head, trailing the bot's path with her eyes. And it came...
Hi.
Hey, Kate.
Hi.
You back from the woods?
Yeah.
Cool.
Were you just talking to yourself?
No.
Well, then who are you talking to?
No one.
I-
How's the woods?
Who are you talking to?
I'm not talking to anybody.
Okay. But you were saying things. Whatever. No, what? I'm here.
You are here. You made it.
I did. How late am I?
I started at 6. So you were an hour and 20 minutes late.
Great. Perfect. Cool.
Our guest isn't here either. I had messaged him. And he said, what?
Oh, so we're live, but not actually doing anything?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's fine. It doesn't matter. I was keeping myself busy.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm back from the woods. I was only going to be there for a little bit, but then I found like this trail of like paper confetti, and I had to follow it and see where it went.
Did it lead back home?
Actually, yes.
Was it you? Did you do it and forget?
No, I didn't. But like, it took us on this a really great big loop of this through the part of the woods that I don't usually go, and we ended up right back where we started.
That's kind of funny though.
Yeah, it's fun. It was nice. There's some really beautiful scenery. And now that I have a phone again, I can actually take pictures of it. There was a duck that I snuck up behind, and I think I scared it so much that it shat as it flew off. There's like this big steaming fucking pile. It's horrible. Saw a big old heron too.
Oh, that's a bird, right?
Yeah, big old wading bird with they're usually like kind of bluish.
What's the white one? Not a stork. 'Cause I see those around here. The white stork-looking birds.
Well, maybe they are storks. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I'm not an ornithologist. We saw some squirrels and beetles.
I wasn't sure. I don't know if Marina's going to show up because I said 6 Eastern, and he was like, "Oh, I don't know if I can't. I have like important shit to do." Before then, I said, "Look, it's cool. Like we record between 6 and 9. If you want to
show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a gay witch holiday. I had to go.
Gay witch holiday?
Yeah.
Explain.
It's the 1st of May. It's a gay witch holiday.
I'm not joking. I don't know what you mean.
There's 8 holidays of witchery, and this is one of them. It's
why
May Day with the maypole.
Oh.
Beltane and the fertility and the ritual fucking and all that. Yeah.
Is that why you were in the woods?
Well, I mean, I wasn't fucking in the woods, but that's why I was in the woods. Yes.
I did. What the hell? Tell me about your day, Kate.
Okay. I watered my plants, and I went to get flowers from the store. John went to do a keyboarding test because he wants to work he's making stew in the background. I'm sorry. This is the way it is.
Pickle's a real dick.
Well, yeah, I know. It's what happens when you have a pickle. Anyway, so he had to take a keyboarding test because he wants to work for the 911 thing, and you need to have a keyboarding test. And he took one last year when he first applied, but it's expired, so he did it again. And then we went to the woods and followed a weird paper trail and tied flowers to trees because that's what you do when you're weird. And yeah, I don't know why I kind of got sucked into that whole thing, but anyway, yeah, it was a pretty long hike. I think we were there for probably a couple of hours, and then of course by then our fucking bus transfers were no good, so we had to fucking get a cab home from the mall, but the cab was busy, so we had to wait for a while. And now I'm home, and we're gonna have stew. And I made a cake for our gay holiday, and we've got some like berries and other faggotry to enjoy. So yeah, well, that's quieted down.
Yeah. So I did open surgery on Game Gear.
Oh, how was that? Did he live?
Yeah, it was actually kind of fun. So I told you I got that Game Gear for like $40 off of eBay.
Yeah.
Well, I found a $10 Game Gear at a thrift store over the weekend.
Right.
Took it home and actually worked, but it looked disgusting.
Oh dear.
Now the one that I have that doesn't work is super clean. Like,
Oh,
like
did you just swap the cases?
yeah, it took some doing only because I didn't know. Like, I couldn't find anything online about what they look like on the not what they look like on the inside, because there's plenty of like videos and stuff how to like change out the capacitors to resolder to repair a Game Gear, but not so much as to take one completely apart to like switch the case.
Yeah, Game Gears really need to be recapped if you want to keep using them. Like that's
Yes.
like the most common problem.
Yeah, like I can tell this one will die soon too, sooner or later. But so what ended up happening was, you have to unscrew. Obviously you have to take out all the screws. There's one behind each battery compartment. There's two on the side, and then there's like the only one that you need a special tool for, that hex thing. It's just where the cartridge would go.
Right.
It's actually pretty easy to take apart, but then when you get inside it, when you open it, you have to unplug the pins, the ribbon pins. I don't know what they're called exactly.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And then there's a bunch of screws holding down the circuit boards. Now, the one side with the screen was easy. The other side, it's not that it was difficult, but I just wasn't sure how to take it apart, and I realized it was the heat shield was holding down the rest of the circuit boards, which is like the other two things. Anyway, it worked. I took it all apart. I switched the bodies of them, and it actually worked. The only thing that's gross that's still from the old one, because when I opened it up, there was like dead mites and spiders and shit.
Oh, delicious.
Yeah. So the one part that covers part of the battery, where you put the batteries in, is like glued down. So I had to peel that off. But of course, in the gross one, there's an opening in the battery compartment where that glue would be. So it's just covered in I don't even know what.
Shit. Probably.
Yeah.
I got myself. I've finally managed to find some Goo Gone at my store, so I'm going to be taking that to my game cases later. That's my fucking Monday evening. I'm so excited.
It only took me. I think it only took me maybe 30, maybe 45 minutes to do it, because it was like a lot of like, okay, I don't want to like accidentally break this fucking thing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I also managed to grab bare wires that are on either side of where the screen is that I didn't notice right away, and I'm like, that probably wasn't a good idea, because when you open it up, it says caution, may electrocute self type shit. Like when you open up a
may
TV,
kill you.
Yeah.
Caution, do not sue us. Whatever dumb shit that you do is not our fault. That's always good.
Yeah. Oh, somebody's complaining about me constantly sharing Wendy waifu pictures. Man, come on.
Stop it, John. Cook quietly. Don't slam the pan like that. Such a faggot.
I guess it's fine when we do Let's Plays. Anyway, what else did I do? I got the replacement plug for my Genesis, and that works great.
Awesome.
I switched. I'm gonna try to get the retro box for one more month, because I switched it to Genesis. Well, because it already re-upped my fucking subscription before I had a chance anyway. So I switched it.
Yeah, they re-up pretty early in the month.
Like the first of the month. I'm gonna have to play that song. So
fuck my life.
Checks. What?
Oh, my fucking laptop screen did that thing where it turned itself off, and I can't get it back. Whatever. The call still works.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just get Genesis and Game Gear games just to see what I get, because I have like no real clue of what's on the Genesis or the Game Gear. So fuck it. But I am gonna cancel it, because I want to just get a copy of fucking Streets of Rage 2. I don't care how much it costs, because I think they're probably gonna end up shelling out $30.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, I also got a Genesis controller for $3 from that thrift store. This thrift store was in the middle of nigger country, but it was so cool. Although I was real scared, but I went inside because this is hilarious. So they take cash. They only take cash, and I like, you don't see that me personally, I haven't seen that for a while. So there's a liquor store.
I worked for the pizza place that I worked for 10 years ago. Was cash only, and it was a big deal. Like, all the customers were super pissed at us.
Yeah, that's 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
actually over 10 years ago now. Fuck. So
I think, I'm not sure why she would have a thrift store that is cash only. I mean, like, when I was talking to her, she was nice. I was talking to her, and she says it's like, she brings all the, because I was telling her, I was like, man, I can't believe you got a Game Gear for $10 freaking. Like, if this thing works, I have one at home that doesn't work, I'll just, I'll gut it. And she goes, yeah, I have a eBay store. I guess she said an eBay store, and I bring all the best stuff here. I'm like, that's interesting. There was even a Dreamcast there, but I didn't ask how much it was.
Oh, you should have. I fucking love Dreamcast.
Well, it doesn't look like anybody goes in there to buy anything. Because I was looking on her Facebook page, it was like someone had asked about the Dreamcast, and when I went there was a Dreamcast. There was like sports PS2 games. There, like any video games there were all sports or shit I had anyway, and not much. The only game that was there that I would have even been remotely interested in was like Devil May Cry 1, but I have that, obviously.
Yeah, everyone has that.
But it had a bunch of VHS tapes and DVDs. Christina was looking through the DVD. She said a lot of them were bootleg. I was like, I am not surprised. And it was really funny because I'm poking fun at the area it was in. Now,
Right.
I used to live in an area like this. I used to live in Elizabeth, next to Newark. So I'm not like, I'm just poking fun. But like, you could tell that it was like in a ghetto area by the movies that were there. Because it was all Wu-Tang Kung Fu movies, like black action movies, and it was just funny.
Black movies?
Yeah. So I ended up picking up a couple of Wu-Tang Kung Fu movies and a big VHS box set of every Bruce Lee movie, which is actually kind of cool to have. Yeah, I was watching the Chinese Connection, or Fists of Fury as it's supposed to be called, Fists of Fury. And I was watching on my big ass fucking 27-inch CRT, and I was like, this is nice.
This is cozy.
I like just putting random tapes on when I'm just doing shit because I feel like I'm in a Blockbuster, like I'm that faggot video game Rolf.
Quentin Tarantino?
No, AVGN, but also Quentin. Ooh, yeah. Oh, I'll look at pictures of feet next time.
Pictures of feet. His face looks like a foot.
I know. That's why he loves feet. Oh, I read somebody made a comment. Somebody made a comment about Tarantino saying, like, I wonder where he is now. And it was like the person wrote chopping off feet and gluing them together to make one giant foot. And I was like, oh.
Ew.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Ew,
but anyway, we'll see.
That's horrible.
Yeah. But anyway, I didn't even say the best part. So when I went into the liquor store to get cash, the ATM would only give out.
Sure.
Yeah, it would only give out $20. You could not get any more out, and then it died after I got the $20.
Oh boy!
So I'm thinking they said it that way because people must have been like taking like mounds of cash out and getting robbed as soon as they left the store, or who knows?
I don't know.
I mean, the people who ran the store, who were in the store, were white, and I still felt like the whitest fucking motherfucker in that store.
Well, I mean, there's the difference between fucking Macklemore and Eminem. You know what I mean?
Yes. I'm not as cool as Macklemore. I'm also still dealing with my fucking nerd skin rash, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh no. I'm gonna turn my computer, shut my laptop and open it again. I'll be right back. I should be fine.
Okie dokie. Let's see if nope, she dropped out of the call. Well, you know what that means. Serena thought about it as she walked upstream, eyes on the ground. Wait, did I read this part? Serena was instantly on guard, staring around her and listening. The robot was close by. She sensed its presence. A chill of foreboding swept over her, and she was suddenly aware of how exposed she was. She moved sideways into the brush that lined the riverbank, careful to make no unnecessary sound. She had a feeling she would be doing some running, so she took off her backpack and hid it under a bush where she could find it again. As an afterthought, she took out her pistol and stuck it in her belt where she could reach it easily. Then, curious and cautious at the same time, she set out to find the bot with the big feet. Oops. It would be no good to run if she didn't know where the robot was. She might run into it instead of away from it. A sound. A twig cracked under her feet, not her own. Serena turned and faced the direction the noise came from. It wasn't far away. Softly, Serena crept towards it. The woods were very quiet. Too quiet. It frightened her, but she was determined to see the robot. I want to see that robot with the big feet. Another sound further away. She followed. Now the bot's progress was marked plainly by the crunch of robotic feet. That SWAT must be really clumsy to make that much noise, Serena thought. Then, from only a few feet to her right, came the harsh metallic voice of SWATbot. Number 1 priority, Hedgehog, apprehend. Scared out of her skin, Serena leapt away like a frightened deer and fled. Or wouldn't that be a rabbit? I mean, let's not be fucking speciest here. And fled, the robot in hot pursuit.
That was less okay than I thought it would be.
He only dropped out for a little bit.
I know. But anyway, Oh, so we're now that we have a fucking place, we're kind of for the wedding. We're on a hunt for somebody to do the deed.
Oh, a priest of ill morals.
Basically, yeah.
I guess, yeah, right? Because I mean, not to be, no, I mean, really, like some asshole priest might not want to wed you guys because of that reason.
Well, sure, but I mean, the thing is like if we were going totally secular, we just have like a justice of the peace, right? And it's like they work for the government; they don't have anything to do about it. But the thing is, if we want kooky, weird things like I do, I mean, you need to find somebody to do that. And it's stupid because this one bitch we contacted, she's like, "Did you know that I'm also a singer and you can hire me to sing?" And it's like, no, please go away.
Dust in the wind.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be funny. I don't want a wedding, but if I was forced into a wedding, I want it to be the stupidest fucking thing.
Well, it's all right. I'm going to force you into mine.
Well, yeah. That's a year from now, which is good.
Yeah.
Actually, that gives me plenty of time to worry and plan.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah. No, seriously, that's good. Because if you told me it was this year, I'd be like, no, too soon. Because I'm a big weirdo.
Well, I mean, yeah.
It's just, yeah. So, you added me to that group. I got to remember to actually bookmark that group. So I didn't even know I was in that group because Facebook's fucking up. Because like people will post shit to my wall and I won't see it. Like I'll see a comment that says someone posted something to my wall. I go to my wall and it's not there. Even on my phone, I can't see fucking posts.
Oh, that's weird. Well, yeah. I mean, maybe Facebook's just like, man, that Matt's a fucking troublemaker. Let's just
maybe. I mean, I gotta check like maybe I set privacy settings where I have to like okay a fucking wall post. I don't know.
Oh, maybe. I still have mine deactivated from when you and fucking Christina and Joseph Joestar decided to post fucking gross feet all over my fucking page.
All day.
All day. You pissed me right off.
I knew it because they were gone, and I was like, "Oh, man, she's pissed."
Yeah, she's pissed, and I was gonna be like, "Well, now you're not invited." I'm like, "No, wait, that's what he wants."
Yeah, exactly.
No, you're double invited, you piece of shit.
Now I gotta say a speech.
Now you speech.
A speech.
You gotta say a speech, and you gotta do weird shit. You gotta do weird witchery shit.
Oh fuck! I mean, that would be kind of funny.
You don't actually have to, but.
When did you become a Wiccan?
8 months-ish. I don't know. It's weird and stupid.
I don't think well, it is, but I mean, you've hardly mentioned it either. I believe.
Well,
because it's weird and stupid.
Well, not because it's weird and stupid. It's like, what's there to mention? I mean, if you had a Christian on, they're like, by the way, I found Jesus. It would have been like, all right, that's nice.
Well, no. It's not. I make fun of fucking anything, but Wiccans, when I learned more, at the time I learned more about it, it actually seemed not as weird as I thought it was. Because it correct me if I'm wrong, but being a Wiccan is, and I mean like an actual Wiccan, not high school Wiccans,
not somebody who watched The Craft.
Yes, exactly. It's more about being in nature.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, mostly. Yeah.
And meditating, probably. I'm inferring because you've said you've meditated and burned up the sheets with your fucking candle hands.
Yes, although I did start doing that because my doctor recommended it.
Oh, okay.
That was why. But I mean, that's definitely a thing that weird people do. Yes.
New Age hippie doctor.
New Age, no, not a New Age hippie doctor, but it's just like it'll help you calm your ass down so you can go to sleep. Because I was having problems where I would like have anxiety attacks in the middle of the night and not sleep.
Oh,
so it was a way of like just like chill the fuck out, because I would take meds, but like it would give me like fucking weird sleep paralysis nightmares.
Oh,
it wouldn't actually
I hate those.
It wouldn't actually put me to sleep. It would just make me like see the fucking old hag trying to murder me or something. You know?
Yeah. It's funny, like because I'm an old bastard, I have to take fiber pills. I guess I don't really have to, but I do. Just take one. Now I was taking them, and when I woke up, they like dehydrated me, so I'd have to drink all day. Which they're meant to do that,
right?
But I was like, oh, yeah. So I was like, oh, I'll take one before I go to sleep. While I'm sleeping, I won't have to drink all the fucking time. I'm not pissing every half hour. Mistake. Because when I woke up, I was so like I couldn't figure out what was wrong because I'm also on fucking antibiotics right now, and I'm like, why am I so fucking dizzy? Like I got out of bed and I almost fell over, and then I'm like, is this the antibiotics? And then I'm like, later on, I was like putting stuff underneath my futon, like some books, and I'm like hunched over, my head pointing down, and I got up and I was like dizzy again, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I realized, oh, I'm dehydrated. I'm way dehydrated. Yeah, which is funny because like creatine for bodybuilders is like
right.
You're supposed to, like if you take that shit, it will work. Creatine works. It's not hocus pocus. Wiccan.
Shut up.
It's real. It works, but I can't take it because I'm one of the few people that get super fucking dehydrated, and I have to.
Well, you
it's
know,
like a hangover
sorry,
headache.
It's
Big baby.
Korean then.
I'm a big baby.
Okay. I was like, I try to remember what the actual word for that is, because every time I mention it, I want to say creosote, and I know that's not right.
No. Creatine.
People are fucking eating. Yeah. No. Well, I don't know. But no, and that's why Kate meditates, so she doesn't get dehydrated.
Excellent.
I don't know. I mean, like I had my reservations about the whole thing, but it's something that kind of I'd always had a curiosity about for a long time, and kind of always.
If it works and you're not hurting anybody, who gives a
Well, yeah, I know, but like, there's always that, especially at first, I was like, really, am I doing this? This is dumb.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like I'm pretty. I mean, I don't know if the listeners can tell. I'm actually a pretty self-conscious guy, and yeah.
Oh,
really?
big chief.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I get no respect. I got touched by a priest. Oh, I sat in his lap and he gave me $5.
Right on.
Am I doing? Who was I doing there? Rodney.
I think it was partly Rodney Dangerfield, and partly something like Andrew Dice Clay.
Hey, all right. Hey, fucking jerk off, asshole guy.
No fucking respect. Take my wife. Oh.
Take my wife. I won't fuck her. Oh.
Oh my God.
So, where's I even going with that? Oh, like I won't get on. Like we were talking about how I won't get on those arcades with the motorcycles because I feel
hang-on
super
bikes.
Weird getting on it with my ass.
Right.
Yeah, but I'll put my ass in the air for like any other reason.
Face down, ass up, baby.
Yeah. So, well, I have to piss and it's 7:45, so I'll be right back.
Are you gonna make a new call, or are you just gonna let it?
Just let it go. We don't make new calls anymore. Fuck it.
I'm gonna read our YouTube comments in the meantime.
I love cum. This little lady wants it, so you better give her some. I love cum. Shoot it on the face, then shoot it on the bum. I love cum. Drink it down like a shot of rum. I love cum. Not gonna stop until you're done.
I don't know. I kind of pushed it out of my mind because I was like, we're done with fucking silent.
No, I want to play Shattered Memory.
You will play Shattered Memories. Yes.
Oh, by the way.
Scarab. What?
I didn't really edit.
I have not seen the new Samurai Jack, by the
way.
No,
No, it's not that. I was going to say, in the episode where in the Final Fantasy Soul of Rebirth.
Right.
I kind of skipped. I just tried to find like little audio things. I didn't listen to the whole thing. I was like, I'm not spending 2 hours on a Saturday doing this. But I did happen upon where you mentioned that some yuppie fucking faggot. It was probably Yale. Wrote an article about how Scaramouche is homophobic.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't say, but like the whole time when he showed up, I was like, oh, he's being Sammy Davis Jr.
Yeah.
So how in the fuck? Unless they wrote the article like just knowing that and they didn't care because they wanted to just create some bullshit. How would you not know that was Sammy Davis Jr.? Like, I'm 30 and I know that's Sammy Davis Jr. Like, I'm not old.
Because everything is a problem.
But it's like, it's so funny
people.
because it's like you could say that, like the creators could come out and say, no, he's supposed to be Sammy Davis Jr. And unless if you think Sammy Davis Jr. was fucking problematic, then you've got no fucking argument. And the fact that a college would come out, a university that used to be so fucking highly regarded would come out with an article like that, like pissed me off like after the fact. Like you mentioned it and it made me mad. And then when I listened to it again, I was like, wait a fucking minute.
That's stupid.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, that's stupid.
At this point that colleges and universities are nothing but fucking social justice indoctrination cesspools. Like,
yeah,
all they're doing is fucking churning out left-wing yahoos these days.
When the fucking meme wars happen, I mean, they're happening right now at Berkeley. This is going to spill out, and we're all going to be like fist fighting in the fucking streets. It's so retarded.
It's really stupid. At this point, I've given up trying to convince anyone else that what they're doing is dumb. So
no, I'm just saying it's going to be. I used to look at other countries that would riot, and I'd be like, well, at least that's not us. But it's starting again.
Yeah,
and it's funny because it's on college campuses, and it's like it's just people looking for a fight, picking a side. And it's like they're not. Like, I don't feel good about either side. Like, I'm on one side more than the other. But if you asked me whose side I am on, I would say I'm not on either side because they're assholes. But I'm obviously more on the side for I'm against the side that wants to police speech, but I don't like that forces me onto the side of certain races are better than others, and they just won't come out and say, yes, I'm racist and I'm white and better than you. Because when I was listening to that guy who punched out Moldy Locks, some black guy, that's his name, asked, do you think some races are better than others? And the guy he danced around it. I'm like, but this is like the whole thing you're supposedly fighting for, and you can't just come right out and fucking say it, you coward. Like, you could punch a woman, but you can't and I give him credit for like jumping into a fray. Like, he definitely has some balls. I'm not even saying that he doesn't. But to get asked a straightforward question like that and dance around it, I'm like, dude, like, at least the KKK fucking says we hate niggers, we hate spics, and we hate kikes. Like, at least they have the balls to fucking say it.
Well, yeah, I get where you're coming from. I mean, which is kind of what I learned with Gamergate, is that you don't always like your allies, but the thing is that you can agree on some issues and not on others, and that's okay. You can work together on some things and you can fight each other on others. It's not an all or nothing proposition.
No, that's the problem with them.
You know?
The SJWs is that it's all or nothing, and that's why they're eating themselves alive.
Yeah, well, exactly. But at this point, I feel like I've done my tour of duty.
Yeah.
And
you want that hat that says I survived? I'm the meme veteran or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I'm the fucking meme veteran, and so I just want to kind of do my own thing, and I'm kind of just, it's like to hell with everybody, and you can all kill each other for all I care, as long as you're not fucking my shit up. It's not my shit anymore. And I mean, I eventually got tired of some of that shit too, especially like being on, involved in chans and stuff like that, where it's like, yes, I'm mentally ill and a sexual deviant and whatever. It's like, sure, fine. But what pissed me off is especially with the tranny thing, where it was like, SJWs only support you unless you support them.
Yeah.
And the other side of the fence, I actually see a lot of the same thing, where it's like they only support you unless you support them too. Otherwise, you're just gross or whatever. And it's like,
support trannies.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just I don't know. It's like it's.
No, I think about trannies specifically.
Well, trannies specifically, yes. I mean, they're only cool with trannies unless you support their particular brand of politics. Because then they can use you as an example to go see.
Yeah. Stop doing whatever you're doing. You're making noise.
I'm trying not to, but anyway. So that's one thing that actually kind of frustrated me, because it's like, not that I expect everyone to like bend over backwards and fucking kiss the ground I walk on or any shit like that, but it's like, shut up.
He could talk. Noise is bothering me, but he could talk. Oh, I just made a bunch of noise just now.
Yeah. Well, anyway, point is like, don't kiss up to me only so long as I agree with this, that, or the other thing, and both sides have done that, and I'm like, I'm tired of it.
Yeah. Well, it's because
that always kind of pissed me off. Again, it's not all or nothing. But
it's because SJWs want to hold you up on a pedestal, and then the other side want to fuck you.
They should.
Yeah,
because traps aren't gay.
Exactly.
Except when they are. Oh wait.
I am a bi-gender pineapple.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm also a bi-gender pineapple.
Pretty rad.
Oh wait, something is shipped. What is shipped? What have I bought? I don't remember this. What the hell did I buy?
It's like how I sincerely don't remember.
Sonic Advance. That. All right, that's what I did.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, as good as a Sonic game can be. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, who would fucking? What's the weirdest thing is fucking Sonic fan fiction. Like, I was just fucking around, and I found like there's that fan fiction database, and I just clicked Sonic, and there's just hundreds of pages, and I clicked to like the last page because I wanted to see like what would be like the first thing ever uploaded, and shit was like from 1999, 60,000 words. Like,
Jesus Christ,
what the? I mean, that's like something they could have had published if it was about anything other than Sonic.
I know, right?
Fucking losers.
Yeah, I've never been big into the whole fan fiction thing.
Oh, I don't really care.
I don't understand, because it's like, it's usually not written very well, and none of it actually counts anyway.
Well, yes,
but like a lot of people are like hardcore into it, and like things, and like take that shit almost as like fucking fact.
No, that's wrong.
And it's weird, because I mean, like, that's pretty big in like Trekkie fandom. Like, fan fiction was a big thing there. It was actually one, like, I think probably one of the first like big fan fiction things was Star Trek, and it's like, it's not real. Like, it doesn't count towards the show. None of what you do with the characters matters. It's a complete nothing.
See, I can understand wanting to. I mean, it's probably big with Star Trek because Star Trek lasted for 3 years at the time. Because so you have the original series. When did Next Generation start after that? It had been several years, right?
Well, the original series ended in 70 or 69. Then you had animated that ran 73, 74.
Okay.
I think.
Oh yeah.
Then the first TOS movie was 79, so it was 10 years. And then Next Gen started at 87, so 15-ish years, close to 20.
So I was going to say I can see people wanting, just being hungry for more from that universe, no matter who it was coming from.
Well, sure, that's true. I mean,
but to treat it like canon is ridiculous to me.
That was actually one of the reasons that people got pissed off at Enterprise, is because a lot of the things that Enterprise supposedly broke canon with was just shit that fans had assumed for decades and was never actually said.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, there were, of course, official novels in that time.
I can also understand being like a young writer and not having any ideas of your own. Well, I don't mean idea, but I mean like ideas for characters. So you take another written works characters or show or whatever, and just putting them in a new plot line or story. I mean, because writers got to start somewhere. I mean, hell, as a kid, I wrote a TMNT story, not a fan fiction. I mean, it was on two sides of a paper that I hand wrote. But I mean, I guess technically it was fan fiction. I was 5. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if you're an aspiring TV writer, it's actually not the worst practice, because chances are you're going to be coming into a show that already exists. So being able to write the voices of pre-existing characters correctly is not necessarily the worst skill to develop. You know,
no. Now, how do you?
I mean, that's what, like, Next Gen through most of its run had an open door policy where anyone can come and pitch to us or submit a spec script.
That's
and
cool.
they had a whole office full of people that did nothing but read spec scripts. Most of it went into the fucking burn pile.
Yeah.
But like a number of some of the best writers from that era and ones that worked all the way through like DS9 and Voyager came from spec scripts. And so you definitely can have some talent from that, but it's like it's a far cry from writing about Chekhov and Sulu porking each other in a cave somewhere.
Right. How do you feel about injecting your own character into an existing universe and having them be the coolest?
Well, it's the last part that is the worst. I mean, like I said, I don't like fan fiction in general. But I mean, if you're going to add a new character, like whatever, fine. I mean, like as if any story really with characters that are established, to throw something new into the mix and they react differently, it not just changes up the superficial stuff, it actually changes up how the characters interact, and you throw that usual balance off kilter, and that can make for a good story. But the problem is like it's the last part when they're the cool cat and everyone they're super special and can do everything perfect and are amazing, and it just reeks of immaturity and wish fulfillment. It's not any part of like the actual craft of writing. It's just a kid dicking around.
Yeah, exactly. So you asked me what I was doing before you came. I was going to keep this a secret, but I can't because I'm just that kind of guy. I literally found a Sonic fan fiction that was 60,000 words, and I was reading it till someone showed up in the call.
Oh, fuck me. You were reading it for an hour and 20 minutes?
Yeah. And
I'm so sorry.
It's okay, because it was fun in a way, and then it was psychotic.
I hope you edit some of that.
Nope. That's gonna be the whole. That's why I wasn't going to say anything, because I knew you'd say that, but no. Don't say a word. Don't even tell Mitch, because Mitch actually listens to these episodes.
Does he still?
Yeah, he listens to the episodes. Stop making noise. So he listens to the episodes. So don't say anything to him, because it'll be funny, because I just cold open reading this story. So anybody who's listening this far, thank you. I hope you enjoyed that hour and a half of, I think it was called, I actually have it still open, Daylight Savings. And actually...
Oh, what the fuck title is that?
Well, actually... It made sense. It made sense for the first. Wait, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Oh wait, no, yes it does, because Mobius is stuck in a time continuum. This particular fan fiction is set in the Saturday morning Sat-Am universe.
That's the only one that counts.
Yes, and
the Sat-Am/Archie universe.
Yes, and what's great, actually, you can tell me if this. See, I'm pretty sure this writer created these two characters, but you can tell me otherwise.
Okay.
So there's a character named Slasher. She is
okay.
Okay. I thought it was a guy just by the name. She is introduced as Sonic and Tails' friend previously, who they know. And this is from the story. They know each other like the back of their hands. But Sally and the rest never met her before. Now, what kind of animal do you think Slasher is, because I burst out fucking laughing when I read what this fucking thing was.
Oh, so it's something stupid, eh?
It's something real. Well, what's funny is that the animal is cool, but it's stupid.
Okay, well let's try some 20 questions. We'll see.
Okay.
If I can figure it out.
Cool.
Is it a mammal?
No.
Is it a bird?
See, I can't do a yes or no with that because some scientists would say maybe.
Is it a dinosaur?
Yeah. You got it too fast. What kind of dinosaur? I said it was cool. And this is written in 1999.
Raptor?
Yep.
Yeah.
It is a fucking velociraptor with wings.
Scientifically accurate, probably.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean,
they had feathers apparently, so
it's pretty. The story is actually really sci-fi.
And then Sonic stroked the sole of his foot up and down Slasher's vagina.
Well, what's funny is that there's a line, and I can't tell if it was more because there is some humor injected in this, but he said he loved her all the same, and I'm wondering. I mean, I'm pretty sure Sonic is in love with Slasher, which is funny because it's like this character isn't right. There's no character like this in the comics.
Okay.
No, I'm asking you. Is there?
No,
Okay.
Definitely not.
So that's why I asked you that question. Like
the only thing I can remember that was actually like even close to a dinosaur is Dulcie the dragon.
Oh, that probably explains. Now, this is 1999. That might explain the line that he said. Now, your next question is going to be, am I a dragon? No, I am not. So maybe that's why.
Maybe.
And then there's another character called Serena, who is Sonic's long-lost sister.
No.
They don't know about each other.
No, that's not in the comics. It sounds like some shit from Sonic Underground, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Now, what's funny about this is like after reading, I mean, I'm only halfway through, I guess, because there's 60,000 fucking words. And I have to finish this because I'm like too invested. But send your emails to randomassaultpodcast@gmail.com if you would like me to read the rest of this
Please don't do that
into the microphone.
Maybe that's what you can do for your speech at the wedding. Just read the rest of this.
Oh man, no, but it's just funny because it's like I think
it'll be the longest term like joke payoff.
Yeah, oh my god, because I think this story would have been better if it was just. I'm critiquing this fucking fanfic from 1999, but I can't
suppress the editor in you.
I can't. That's exactly right.
It's just how like I can't answer any question without giving people like 4 paragraphs. You can't resist the urge to cut.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. This story, I have to admit, it's not written poorly. Like there are now. I mean, as I'm reading this, I'm saying editing shit out loud. Because I mean, there's certain things that don't make sense, like certain lines that an editor really should have went through this. But the story would have been better if she cut Slasher, he cut Slasher out of it, and just left it about Serena. Because this Slasher, of course, is like what I was saying, the super cool character introduced out of nowhere that only the main character knows about, who's in love with the fucking new character. It just doesn't make any fucking sense.
Sonic fans are weird.
Yes.
And I say this, I love the 2D Sonic games. They're very near and dear to my heart, most of them. But Sonic fandom has always had an element of like role play and like just like weird obsession that I've just never been comfortable with.
Oh, by the way, this let me say, this idea came from Christina, who is a Sonic fan, because I said, it looks like it's only going to be me until somebody shows up. What should I do?
Sonic fanfic?
Yeah, she was like, read Sonic fan fiction. I was like, oh my god,
there's just something weird about it. I don't know why.
I said, I think I'm gonna just read fan fiction, but what should I read? And she immediately said Sonic. I was like, holy fuck. I was like, that answer was so obvious, that's why I didn't think of it.
Yeah, that or Harry Potter would probably be the worst.
Oh my god, see? Jesus Christ. Fuck. Maybe next time when I'm on an episode all by myself for an hour and a half.
Yeah, well, I tried to get home faster, but I didn't anticipate how long the trail of paper dots would take me.
No. Trust me, it was actually kind of fun to read it because it was so frustrating at times because it was so bad at times. Other times it was okay. Like honestly, I think if the story was just about Serena, it probably because her character's kind of fun. She's real sarcastic and like, I mean, sarcastic in a way that if I was a kid, I'd be like, if this was an episode of the cartoon, I'd be like, oh, she's neat. I'd probably have a crush on her, that kind of shit. Although I think she's like 10 because apparently Sonic's like 15.
Oh yeah, 15, 16, I think, like canonically. I mean, well, actually no, because he was aged up for like the Sonic Adventure era, I think.
Well, sure, but I think he's supposed to be 15.
Well, 99 would have been Sonic Adventure, so.
Oh, okay. No, this person
Sonic
specifically.
So.
No, in the story, this person specifically states that Sonic is 15.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Good for them. I'm just saying that would have been out. Is there Big the Cat in it? Because I mean, clearly that's the.
Not yet. This seems to only be the only actual character from the universe that is injected into this is Knuckles. Because as far as I know, Knuckles never showed up in the cartoon.
Well, I think Knuckles probably is like the cartoon predates him, doesn't it?
Might
'Cause he was only-
maybe.
Because he was only introduced in Sonic 3, and that was 94.
Huh.
So he would have been within the show.
Oh, am I boring you?
Have been on the air by then.
I guess.
Already?
Yeah, I guess. Huh. That's interesting.
I don't know. When I was a kid and I used to write stories, I would use my schoolmates as characters. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I did the same.
I didn't write fan fiction, but I would just use people I knew from school or whatever, even if they were people I wasn't friends with.
Yeah.
Just because I kind of knew what they were like, I guess, and did save me the trouble of making people up, which was sometimes a problem because like back in those days, you'd write it out by hand. So anytime like my little binder would get found, it would be like, why are you writing about your classmates being horribly slaughtered by zombies or something? And I'm like,
Oh.
please don't send me to the counselor again.
No, what I did was I drew comics with my friends,
Hmm.
but eventually that turned into it was a collaborative effort, of course. But it was that I don't know if I've ever mentioned this on the show, but if you look on YouTube, there is a movie. There's a movie called
No, I heard you. I'm just saying what.
from high school. This is me in high school, and my friends and I put a movie together. Now, I didn't have as much, let's say, creative control over this project, so I didn't. It's not that I'm embarrassed of it. It's just that there's a lot of editing shit that like if I could do it over again, I would edit this thing down to like fucking 20 minutes type shit. Also, it went through a lot of like turmoil, like we lost a whole section that we had filmed that I don't really remember exactly what we did, but we had to we didn't have time to redo it because we were trying to we were bringing in a lot of people in high school. We didn't finish it until we entered college. So it started like senior year to freshman year of college. Like we didn't finish it. It took forever. So it's funny when you watch it all in a row, the seasons change, our clothes change. It's actually kind of funny. But yeah, if you want to see
Your clothes are red.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to see a very 16-year-old, 17, 18-year-old flab slapper. Actually, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe I should cut this part because I think I used my real name in that.
You probably should.
Oh, well, I'm telling you, if you want to see it, I'll cut this part.
Well, I'll tell you, when I was in high school, I tried to make a movie because my friend had a video camera and I was like just a camcorder, you know. I was like, I want to make a movie because I'm going to be a big cool movie writer when I grow up. You know?
Me too.
But so we were doing Macbeth at school, and I really liked it. And I was like, I can make a Macbeth movie, but I'll rewrite all the dialogue in the script so that it's still the same gist, but it's like, you know, foul-mouthed modern dialogue and stupid. I might still have that somewhere. And I got in trouble because I gave it to my English teacher, and she's like, you cannot write that somebody is a few kind of hair short of a full bush.
That's great. Well, that movie, I'm going to just cut the name of the movie, but that movie is like full of like fucking pot shit.
Weed?
Yeah, because I mean, that's when I was smoking it. So it was like, you know, the funniest jokes to us were fucking pot jokes. And we straight up lifted a scene from Star Wars and just dubbed over it.
Oh, perfect.
It's pretty funny. Like, none of you will ever see it because I won't say the name of it again. Unless if I don't actually use my real name in it, which if I don't.
Well, go check it. But yeah. Anyway, I actually one of my teachers was like, I know somebody who works for CBC. I'll give this to him. I'm like, I can't imagine what the fuck he would have thought of it. Jesus Christ.
Oh man.
But yeah, I went so far as to have like people come and audition at lunchtime, and like I never filmed a single frame of it. I got fucking expelled before I could even start. Like that was it. And the worst part is like fucking around with the video camera. I realized that I actually had no way to edit it because it only connected to the computer over FireWire, which our shitty old computer did not have.
Yeah. See, I didn't. Our movie, I didn't edit. I filmed it, but I didn't edit, which is probably where my fucking hatred of filming comes from. I hate setting up. Like, I can't stand setting up a shot, but I will edit anything. I love editing, and I think now, you know, I just had a realization. I think that's why, because I wanted to edit that fucking movie. I wanted to edit it. And like the other guy, and the guy I used to hang out with was like, no, I want to edit it. So I was like, and I had a falling out with him like not too long after I moved here for a stupid reason. It actually kind of sucks because he was a good guy. But anyway.
Oh my god. Okay, sorry. I just remembered something else about the fucking camcorder.
No, what?
So I was living with my boss at the time.
Really?
And yes, this was after I'd left my parents' house.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And she had her baby recently.
You ate it?
I ate it. And anyway,
a
so
witchy sacrifice?
Yeah, so witchy sacrifice. Anyway, so she was only like 5 years older than me. So I'm actually older now than she was then.
Oh, wow.
She was probably 23, 24.
Mm.
And so she seemed, very old and adult at that time. And now it's like, I don't feel old and adult. But anyway, so she had her baby, and I guess they had like camcordered at least some of it, right? Stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was fucking around with camcorder and recorded over some of her fucking birthing video.
Oh my god, it's like a fucking sitcom.
I know, and she was doing like exercises in the front room. And she was she was a bit chubby, right? She owns a pizza place, so she's she's a bit heavy. And she had like the TV on like the program guide, which had the local radio playing over it, And so fucking crazy on you or whatever the fuck that song is.
Yeah.
By Heart.
Yeah.
Was playing. So, and I thought so she's doing exercise in the front room, and I'm filming the TV. She's doing the stretches to this fucking radio. It's just her giant ass slowly rising up into the frame. And then it cuts to like birthing video. While Heart is playing.
Oh my god. Crazy honey. Oh Jesus. That's fantastic.
They were so mad at me.
When did she ever find out? She must have.
Yes. I told her immediately. I was like, oh fuck.
Oh my god, what'd she say?
She was pretty pissed. She was pretty pissed.
Did she kick you out?
No, not immediately.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. Fuck, that would have made her mad.
I mean, stop making noise. I hope she could find the humor in it now, because we have.
Well, yeah.
Jesus. Jesus Christ. Divorce.
Yeah. Well, anyway, and then also like another thing too is like because of the whole attempt at staging the Scottish play. See, the curse strikes again. I became somewhat known in school as the movie kid.
Oh yeah.
And that was at the time I was like super into a movie buff, right? So
yeah,
that was my thing. When I wasn't the weird gay kid, I was the movie kid. So I would like my girlfriend's sister and her friends who were a grade below me were taking French, and they had to do a video project, and they wanted me to film it for them. And I made them all assurance, oh yeah, I'll do that. It's great. Again, I forgot I couldn't actually edit any of this, so it's just like this subtle fucking gong show of just like straight as is filming.
God,
that the entire class laughed at and made them feel like assholes, and I was in trouble because I didn't do what I said I would.
Oh
and I lied. I lied, everyone. I lied, everyone.
Oh no.
Yeah, man.
The hijinks.
Yeah, old high school history. See, it's good. See, we keep dredging up older memories. I keep thinking I've told all my good stories before.
No. Well, I really don't think I've ever mentioned that movie.
No, well, no, you haven't. I don't think I've ever mentioned the fucking crazy on you giant ass.
God, I want to recreate that. I think I will. That'll be the new break. I'll find some birthing fucking video, and I'll do that song, and I'll just Photoshop an ass, and I'll have it come in. I'll slow. Oh, it's gonna be great.
Over a CRT television showing the program guide.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, that too. Did you see the video that video I made that I posted to Facebook?
Which one?
The one where I was watching. So I was Christina was like,
we were showing something about an ad.
Yeah. So there was. I'm gonna put it on YouTube because why not?
Sure.
It was. Christina wanted to watch Ghost Stories because of the funny dub, which that show is fucking funny.
Okay.
And it's an anime. And I was like, well, it's probably on Crunchyroll. Let's see. And it's on Crunchyroll. And I was like, I remember if you don't pay for Crunchyroll, you're going to see the same fucking ad over and over again. And it was an ad for a jerky company that, of course, I can't remember the name of, even though I saw it 25 fucking times. But the
Their
commercial
ad has not worked very well then.
No, but the ad is a white guy playing shuffleboard who I assume is some kind of athlete. I don't fucking care. And he hears a voice, and it's a black guy sitting in a very well furnished living room, which is to infer that is his stomach. So he goes, he's like, we got to eat, and he goes, I gotta, something, voice in my stomach. So I got so fucking sick of this commercial. I filmed it off the TV. It's like, what, you want some jerky stomach jigaboo? And I posted that to Facebook, and I thought, I in my naivete, I thought that I would get some views. Maybe someone would laugh. Doesn't seem like anybody cared. So I'm going to put it on YouTube, see if that gains some traction. Really, it's what I've learned is Mitch has the secret sauce to piss people off, and I don't.
Well, I mean, yeah, you spent 6 years with Mitch. You know how fucking stupid he is and annoying. Like, you're damn right he's got the secret sauce to piss people off. He's been doing it to us for ages.
But I called him a stomach jigaboo, and nobody cared.
I know. No, I know. Like, I know. I know. Oh, I know.
Oh, Father.
I know. No, I was doing Faulty Showers, but sure.
Okay.
No, anyway, I am View's kryptonite. Anything that I'm on, pretty much, nobody cares. Anything I do, nobody cares. The only thing I've ever been on that people watch a lot was the Chris Chan thing.
Yeah.
Who complained that I talked about kissing somebody with half a face or whatever. But anyway,
what's the rest of the story? What's going on?
Yeah, but anything that I do is like, even when it, like the Geekenstein stuff, like,
oh yeah,
like nobody ever gave a fuck, and so you just got to resign yourself, Matt. You just got to do it for your own amusement.
No, I did. Believe me, I watched my own video about 4 times and laughed hard every time.
There you go.
That sounded like Adam Sandler or something.
It's sad, but it's perfect.
Oh, it's perfect. You gotta do it for yourself.
Exactly. That's why I always hate it when YouTubers are like, "You're taking food from my children's mouths." Like, you in it for the wrong reason, nigga.
Oh yeah, I was complaining about that to someone. I mean, in a comment.
Anyone who would listen.
Yeah, basically, just yelling into the void. That Mr. Meatix, I don't know his fucking name, but he just started a series on
Mr. Meatix.
Mr. McPicklix.
Do you mean the guy that used to be Internet Aristocrat?
Oh, that makes sense. Because he always gets his channels taken down, right? Or does he do it himself?
He does it himself. Basically, once too many people like him, he takes his channel down and makes a different one. But everyone always knows it's him. You
know what's funny? Is that's what I would do. But not enough people like our shit yet.
So you mean Mr. Medicare, I think his name is now?
Yeah, he just started. Now that makes sense that he just started a series on people from that guy with the glasses, because that's all he would talk about, it seems.
Yeah.
But his video on Nostalgia Critic was pretty good, and his next episode is going to be about Spoonie. So, of course, the jilted lover that I am, I look forward to that. It's funny because he called him Juan but not forgotten, and I didn't know what that meant. So I actually just Googled Juan but not forgotten, and I remember when I found it's because supposedly Spoonie's brother Miles, who's a policeman, shot and killed a Mexican guy.
Nice.
And that was a hashtag trolls would use in the live shows, in the live streams for Spoonie, and Spoonie would straight ban hammer him, which you don't have to do much for Spoonie to ban you. Although you can't do anything now because Spoonie doesn't do anything now. La 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 la. Anyway, I look forward to that because I'm sad, and his Patreon keeps going down and down. Down and down and down. He looks like a talking penis, babe.
Yeah, apparently there was a 6.2 magnitude earthquake in northern BC today.
Northern BC?
Yeah.
What is BC?
BC is British Columbia. That is the province in which I live.
Did you feel it?
No, well, no. We're on the southern end of the province, dear.
Did people die?
I don't know. I just saw the headline and I was like, oh, interesting. See, no, I got my new phone, and it's tall and it's flat and it's very high tech, but it's got that plastic screen thing on it, and I want to peel it off.
No, don't do that, because that's how my dad fucked up a TV.
But I've been
because it wasn't. It looked like a thing you would peel, and it wasn't, and he fucked up.
Well, no, this is a thing that you peel. Oh. I was told by the person who sold it to me, this is a thing that you peel.
Oh, okay. I wonder if Marina's going to show up before 9 o'clock.
I still want to peel it off, though, but I also don't want it to, because it's going to ride around in my pocket a lot, so it could use the extra protection.
Well, before you peel it off, buy a protector.
I don't have a protector.
That's what I mean. Get one.
Yeah, well, I got a new bike and I got a new phone. So
Oh, that sucks.
I'm all set to fucking pedal my ass up to the farm again.
I can't believe somebody fucking stole your bike. Where do you live? Like, do you not lock up your bike? No, I don't want specifics. I just mean, like, is it a bad neighborhood?
Kind of, sort of, not really. I mean, there's a fair amount of like homeless people and crackheads, but like it's not so much the neighborhood. It's just that's how it is in this town.
Where was Trudeau? You're a tranny. You should have called him up and said your bike was stolen. He would have set up a Patreon.
Yeah, no,
for you.
I do use a lock. Normally, like our building has like a bike shed, right? That you put things in. I forgot because I was in a rush to get home to
Oh yeah, but
my banking information because the day before my fucking phone got stolen. So
I parked the
bike. No, I
had to rush home to do the Let's Play.
No. So I parked the bike at the bike bike stand thing, like out front of the building for like visitors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I locked it up there, and I forgot to take it into the bike shed that night because I was like all of a fluster up and lost my phone. The next day, I was at the farm and I got a ride up there. And I went out, and John, are you going to go Dairy Queen at any point?
Yeah.
Well, hurry up. Anyway, so I came out, and it was still there, and it was still locked up and whatever, and I was in a rush, so I just kind of went up the hill. When I came home, like 4 hours later, it was gone, and the lock was still there, so I think somebody jimmied the lock and left it behind, which was nice of them, because now I still have a lock for my new bike. But it's yeah, you never know. I mean, John's bike got stolen a couple of years back, and they just took bolt cutters to the thing.
Yeah, true. I mean, yeah. Well, that's too bad.
It's too bad. Where are you going?
Why?
I want ice cream, and I'm hungry. That's why.
Is an ice cream gonna be for after?
No.
Oh.
Ice cream is for right now.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm gonna go in a minute.
All right. I haven't had ice cream in fucking 7 weeks.
Longer than that. You didn't have ice cream like before then.
Oh, that's true.
I've
My wretched diet.
It's been months.
It's been months.
I've been having ice cream every day for the past 2 weeks.
Oh.
Do you need anything else from the store?
I gave you the whole list, which was not very much. I want you to get salsa. I want you to get the funky multicolored corn chip things.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And yeah, that's it, actually.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
All right. Perfect. Very healthy.
Cool. Heading out in just a few minutes.
How are you doing on your diet?
Well,
I mean, besides today.
Well, I've added in a little more carby and sugary things that I had mostly cut from before, and I wanted to see how that was. And I'm still about the same. I'm 1 pound heavier than I was last week, but I think that could also be like that's within the margin of error for like I might just have had a big piece of poop in me.
Yeah.
So.
Well, just be careful because you've only been doing this for 2 months.
Yeah.
2 months is when everybody relapses.
I'm not going to stop.
I'm just saying it's when people start allowing themselves allowances because they're like, well, I've lost so much weight in 2 months. Yeah. So.
I'm still exercising every day.
Okay.
And I'm still not allowing snacks either. So like it's like I'm just being a little bit more
well, it's because it's miserable.
I'm having a little bit looser leash with my meals.
Yeah.
Like supper. Not even meals, just supper. And even that, we're still cooking everything at home, really, for the most part. So the only thing I'm having it now is because it's a gay holiday treat.
Yeah.
So
just
don't worry.
Just a message of warning from your old pal Flap Slapper.
Your old pal Flaps. No, I know. We're gonna keep on the weight, and like if it's up again next week, we'll do better. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like I remember someone saying, you fuck up one day doesn't mean that you have to fast for a week. If you just take it easy the next day to make up for it, and then you're fine. Or The
other thing too is like I was not able to exercise last week as much as I could have because I had my workout app was on my phone, so that was gone. And of course, when I reinstalled it on this phone, all of a sudden my preferred routine is behind a paywall. So it's like, okay, fine, you can have your $5 little because fuck everything, I guess.
That sucks.
Anyway, so I couldn't do that, and then so I'd alternate on different days. One day I do like a workout routine. The other day I go for a bike or a run or whatever. So but my bike was stolen, so I didn't go that way either, and I was feeling sick. So
oh yeah,
it was like everything was just conspiring to piss me off.
Yeah. I remembered something else.
Ugh, what?
I remembered that now I could play light gun games again on my
Oh,
PS2.
hey, yeah, that's right.
So I played Time Crisis 2 or 3. 3. Time Crisis 3 and Vampire Knight. I also have Resident Evil Dead Aim,
Of course you
Time
do.
Crisis 2, and
Time
Ninja.
Crisis 2.
And Time Crisis 2. And
play a Time Crisis 2.
And-
put the gun at the screen and I shoot.
and Ninja Assault. Now I looked to see if there were any other shooters I didn't know about, and there's Endgame, which I had no idea was a fucking. I think I did at some point, but I forgot that it's a light gun game. I can get that for about $10. And then there's other games that you can use light guns with, but they're not listed as light gun games for some fucking reason. So I gotta like look at that list again. Like apparently there's remember, that's fucking Starsky and Hutch PS2 game.
Yeah.
Apparently co-op is a light gun game.
Not always.
Okay, see that's what I mean. Like I didn't even know. I don't know what that game is.
I had it when I was a kid. Because I was into the 70s when I was a kid because I was trying to win my mother's approval. But it didn't work. No. No. Anyway, so my brother and I bought that because it was like in the bargain bin.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a driving. It's a solely a driving game, and you're shooting out the window while you drive. So and at least we didn't have a light gun. So when my brother and I would play co-op, one player is driving, the other player is shooting.
Oh.
And when you're playing by yourself, you just got to do both. And it's not a great game. I actually have it again on Xbox. I didn't want to buy it again. There was no nostalgia for it or anything in particular, but I just that was one of the bunch of games I got from John's parents when they were moving. So
okay.
That's followed me like a bad fart.
I also looked to see. I have a light gun for my Xbox because I used to play House of the Dead 2 and 3 and that other one. But no, I'm sorry, just 2 and 3. And I was like, was there a gun con for the Xbox? And there wasn't, I guess. And House of the Dead was never on PS2. I'm like, seems like a missed opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every other, I mean, because
House of the Dead is Sega, right?
Yeah, but that's what I was gonna say. Isn't Time Crisis Sega?
Time Crisis is Namco.
Oh,
there was a period when the Dreamcast ended that Sega made a fair amount of Xbox exclusive sequels.
Yeah,
to Dreamcast games. They did Crazy Taxi 3 was only on Xbox. Panzer Dragoon Orta, Jet Set Radio Future, and so maybe the House of the Dead was just part of their Xbox exclusivity. Didn't last very long, but it was a thing for a while.
I was also trying to see if maybe I can get some because I know you can play PS1 games on a PS2, but you need a PS1 GunCon to work with PS1 GunCon games. But then I was looking at the prices. Yeah, they work apparently. I mean, that's what I found. I haven't tried it myself, but I mean,
I don't do light guns, so I mean,
yeah, I was like, how hard could I'll get a game and a GunCon. How expensive could it be? It'd be kind of expensive. The PS1 GunCons on eBay that I found were like at least $20, and I'm like, I don't want to spend $20.
It's not that bad if it still works.
Yes, I'm just saying. I thought it'd be cheaper, but the GunCon games are fucking expensive. Like obviously,
you cannot underestimate. No, they're never going to be cheaper. It's retro now, right? So that means it's got to be expensive.
Bullshit.
Oh, speaking of things that are expensive, I went to EB Games again.
Oh Christ!
I know. I found 3 things because I had a buy 2 get 1 free coupon that was expiring. So I got Captain Toad, the treasure game.
Oh, that's a great game.
Yeah, I wanted to try it. I fucking hate Toad because he's a little faggot.
I don't think he talks much in this.
No, well, but I actually like those stages in 3D World, so I'm alright.
Oh,
with
okay.
That. And I got New Super Mario Brothers Wii because that was one of the few Mario games I don't have. And I got Child of Eden for the Xbox 360 because I like Rez, and I think this will be fun.
Oh, okay. I love that Toad game. It's so much fun.
Cool.
I wish if I had known it was gonna be that fun, I would have like gotten in on the fucking amiibo version of it, like in box. Yeah. But I bought it off the store for $35. How much did you get it for? 20?
25.
Yeah. I think I've seen it for $20.
I know. I peeled all the stickers off as soon as I get them home, so I don't actually remember.
But it's so worth it because it's like you can play. It gets harder, but you can. I think it is practically 3 games in that because you play once as Toad, then you play it as Toadette, and then I think there's a third mode where you play as Toad, and everything's like super fucking hard. And when you play it as Toadette, it's different levels. It's not like you play as her in the same levels. It's completely different levels. It's one of Nintendo's best games that I don't.
That no one cared about.
Yeah. I think it's old okay because I mean, and I hear people talk about it randomly online.
Yeah, I'm still like I've been wanting to get on. I wanted to get for my Wii U collection. There's not too much that I don't have because I was pretty good about buying things as they came out, and also the Wii U doesn't have it's got a good library. It doesn't have a huge library, but I still want to get Mario Maker. Yeah, which is still even used as like $60 here. Yeah, and Pikmin 3 is the other thing that I want to get. I wrote a shithead comment on a Machinima post that I don't know why I even saw, but it was them posting at least a 2-year-old fucking video of Mario Kart 8 because the game came out, so it's new, right, on the Switch. So I just wrote rehashing memes like Nintendo rehashing games, and I like Nintendo and I love Mario Kart 8, but come on, Are we gonna get some more Luigi Death Stare memes? That's basically and I'm like, at least use it. Like, if you're gonna use, if we're gonna be talking about Mario Kart 8 on the Switch, at least come up with a new fucking video. Don't use a video from literally the Wii U version. Like, that's such bullshit. I like one thing that this console generation has always like consistently shocked me with is how excited people get for the release of games that have already come out. Last of Us, GTA 5, Uncharted, Mario Kart, Uncharted, Skyrim. Like, it's ridiculous. And there are new games. You've had these games forever. Like, add me to the call and Hangouts. Mitch says, send me an invite. The link is on the fucking Facebook post you are commenting on right now. Oh, that sounds great. Yeah, this is great. Perfect. Turn your camera off, you gross fuck.
No, I can't. I'm stuck in the mines.
I'm thinking this is you.
Are you in a fucking museum?
No, I'm in the Unicorn Frappuccino mines. They made me work here.
Oh no, are those still available?
No. Here, I have someone who wants to say hello.
Those stupid assholes who I hate so much. What is this? It's us, the stupid assholes who I hate so much.
You don't remember us?
No, I don't remember you. Who is this?
This is Matt Flapslapper from the Random Assault fame.
I was just gonna say of Laser Time fame.
No, that's that other.
The microphone's on the thing.
Oh.
This is so they can see you.
This is so. Oh, I'm on the inside.
You're on the internet.
Turn that off.
I'm on the insert. Whoa, my face is here.
Are you wearing a red shirt in solidarity?
He's wearing his uniform.
I don't know if Mitch is going to talk. I don't know if Mitch is going to talk about it on the show, but I did wear my Random Assault shirt, but I taped my face off. I put tape over my face. And then the next day, Mitch wore the exact same Leitran shirt, but he taped my face off.
That's great. Well, I very much appreciate that picture of the dog with the scary black baby.
Oh, go back to it because I posted the actual picture behind the dog.
Oh, okay, I will.
And
I can do it right now.
Yeah, it's Little African's black licorice, and it's an alligator about to eat a terrified baby.
Like it's so funny the kind of racist shit you find in like antique stores. I mean, racist in a sense because no one knew better.
Oh yeah.
But it's just so funny.
You have no idea the things I found while thrifting in Pennsylvania. You have no idea. There are so many things that I need to show you. I don't even want to ruin them on the show, but like I can't even post some of them on Facebook.
Well, I remember one. I mean, I live close to Pennsylvania, and I was in a thrift store, and it was like a bunch of those. I know there's a name for them, but it's like those Jigaboo dolls. Yeah, like I'm sure you saw a lot of those.
Oh, I have one of those.
There was one bank, and it was just like one of those, but like you put the coin in the guy's hand, and then he eats it, but it's weird because it's just like fucking, whackity schmackity do.
Give me some money, mama.
Yeah, it was a mammy bank.
Oh God.
Why you should have came down? Why didn't you come down up?
I'm skin rashy. I'm like covered in fucking rashes.
I never know when you're serious or joking about things, so I had no idea you were actually
Well, it was
sick.
funny because Mitch told me you said fuck him, he'll have to come to see us, and I was like, but I'm rashy, and then I was like, you know what, he probably thinks I'm kidding. No, I'm serious. Like, I have like a fucking skin rash that the doctors don't know what it is. They had to run blood and they had to do a biopsy, and I haven't heard back yet.
Matt's had something
So,
wrong
honest-
with him consistently for like the last 6 weeks. I don't know what his problem is. It's always some different shit though.
Oh my god. Well,
Like first it's his asshole, and now it's his fucking rash.
yeah, that's why I wasn't sure if like that was a joke. Serious question.
Yeah.
How excited are you at the prospect that maybe they're gonna name a skin disease after you?
Oh, dude, I just want to know what it is. Like, I don't care what it is. I need to know that it is something. Because the last thing I want to hear is them say, we don't know. It's just
You
something
have flap slapper syndrome.
It's psoriasis slapper.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was just eczema or something, but it's like, and like I had an itching fit at work today, and I'm like all flaky. I'm on antibiotics now. It's fucking gross. Like, it went away. And the thing is, it's like, yeah, I don't think I probably would have drove an hour to come out there, but I have this thing anyway. And if I walk around for a little while, I get fucking itchy. So it's like, I was like, they really don't want me going to an arcade with them as
And now
miserable
there's
as I
little
can
black
be.
eggs calling on it.
Yeah,
All right.
as miserable as I can be normally, to be fucking rashy and itchy and be like, guys, I fucking hate my leg.
All right, that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
With that, I'm gonna exit the show for again.
Again.
Forever?
Again.
No, I would.
Yeah.
I am a little upset because I was like, man, they're having so much fucking fun.
No, I'm having no fun. I haven't had a single bit of fun.
Well, you
Oh,
are
okay, I
with
feel
Mitch,
better.
so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mitch is the worst.
Put Mitch back on before you go, though.
I'm gonna. You think I would let
All
you
right, give your
not
mom a
suffer?
kiss for us.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, mommy.
That's a
Holy
good.
shit, is this thing still on?
Sure is.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, Mitch, go
You're
fuck
such a
yourself.
shithead sometimes.
I ejected that faggot from the call.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he hung up at us because I
No.
called him a shithead.
That's funnier though. Fuck you.
I just like his fucking, his like at the ceiling, his little face coming over with his stupid mustache and his dumb grin. Like, hey, you guys.
My name's Mitch, and I don't know how to go into the call.
Yeah. Oh, Alex. Sometimes I miss him. Sometimes I feel like fuck it, we don't need him, and then sometimes I miss him.
Well, it's hard when you don't talk to someone because it's easy for people like you and I to build up hatred for someone.
I don't. It's not hatred for him.
No,
It's
I know.
that,
You just don't talk to someone, so you're like, oh yeah, that's that guy.
Yeah, it's like that guy that's my friend, and he's like, he said that on the wedding group. He's like, I'm gonna try and get there because you're like one of my closest friends. I'm like,
Yeah.
Alex,
okay.
you spiky boy,
Yeah. my little spiky boy.
my little spike boy.
It did hurt my feelings for a second, although then I kind of got over it because I was like, I don't know if I could have made it out there anyway. But I was like, he said, "Fuck him, he's gonna have to come to us." I was like, Jesus Christ! I thought maybe they'd come by. I'm all rashy and shit. They can see my new TV.
Well, if he thought that you weren't serious,
He probably would have. Yeah. That is funny. That's what happens when you joke too much, kids. The boy who cried rash.
yeah, poor Matt.
Well, Marina's got 15 minutes, and then we're gonna end the fucking show because I'm tired.
Marina.
He makes the
Marina. We've had him on the show before.
yeah. He makes the future funk move.
Are we having the Gothic Lolly on the show again?
Yes. Was that her
Yeah.
name? Yeah. I'm not sure when.
Mrs. Bunn.
That's
I
it.
think.
Yeah. Let's see. I can give you.
Yes. I feel like okay. Well, no, I thought I saw that and I wasn't sure.
Oh yeah, I have a real name on here. August. Yeah, I think in
Perfect.
October we're gonna take a break too, because fucking we haven't taken a break. Short break.
Like a break from the show.
Yeah.
Oh well, okay, fine.
Well, I mean, maybe we won't have to. It is October. I might feel differently by the time. Plus, I mean, it's like,
I mean,
every time
okay.
before we start the show, I'm always like, show.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
And I have fun.
It's not that it's not that we don't like doing the show. It's that we're lazy.
Yeah.
We don't want to actually have to do something. But once you're doing it, it's fun. So, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's better. I think it's better if we're going to take breaks to take them around Christmas because everyone's busy anyway. But
Fair. That's true.
I mean, even if we do go off in October, I still want to do a Halloween stream.
Oh yeah.
Of an
Yeah.
as yet undecided game. Probably Harvester.
I do want to do Harvester.
Probably Harvester, maybe Resident Evil. We'll see.
Yeah. What were we were talking about light gun games, right? Or what were we
Yep.
talking about? Yeah. So I play light gun games. I guess I was done. I'm just like, yeah. So that explains why.
some fucking light gun games.
Yeah. I guess that definitely explains why House of the Dead wasn't on PS2.
Well, it's just a guess.
No, it makes sense though. I mean, why else wouldn't it be? It seems kind of strange because it was on the Dreamcast, so that's probably why.
Could be.
Yeah. But it is fun playing it. I love those light gun games. And Vampire Knight is fucking hysterical.
Oh, I bet it is.
Because it's basically... Oh, that's Sega, I think. Hold on. Let me grab it, because I'm pretty sure it's right next to me, so I don't have to reach that far down. Where is it? There it is. Oh, fuck, it's Namco. Never mind.
Don't do that.
Oh, I farted. I farted, guys.
No, you didn't.
I did. Yeah, so that's...
Fuck, you did.
I did. That was a real fart.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, that sounds like a perfect fucking whoopee cushion fart. That doesn't. No, real assholes don't make that perfect.
Remember, I have hemorrhoids.
Okay.
So it creates like a different acoustical sound.
Different fucking airstream.
Yeah, distribution of air and sound. Okay. So, no, that's also Namco. But it's basically House of the Dead. It's basically Namco's House of the Dead. It's got bad voice acting, and it's good. I love it.
Oh, when you see Lonely Gods episodes that aren't made public, you can kind of just do that.
I meant to do that today. I forgot. I meant to do it today.
Yeah, that's good.
I didn't do it yesterday. I didn't do it yesterday for a specific reason that I don't remember why.
It's all right. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got nothing to say.
Me neither.
No, I thought of something, and then then it was gone. It was just like dust in the wind.
Yeah, I'm just gonna tell Marina you can come by another time.
Yeah.
We'll just do another day or something. I don't really
tell him to show up.
Yeah.
Whenever. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. My Monkey Island videos are long for tomorrow, so I don't know if you want to be.
Okay.
What are we doing that or not? All right. So faggot.
Watch me faggot.
Watch me faggots. So why are you always sick now?
I don't know. If I knew that.
Did you just hit like 30 and everything's like
32.
Guess it's time to start crapping out.
My body is finding new ways to betray me. When I fix something, something else goes wrong. It's like I'm an old car.
It's like, yeah, or you're trying to play whack-a-mole with all your
No, it sucks.
all your problems.
And what really sucks about it is that being a neurotic mess as I am, it's like it can't be something really bad, right? It has to be a minor inconvenience, and minor inconveniences are what fuck me up. So if this was like cancer, I could be like, well, it's cancer, got to deal with it. But no, it's a skin it's a skin rash that sometimes itchy that we don't know what it is yet. We don't.
I feel the same way, but not about being sick, but just like the things that piss me off in life the most. And I'm trying to get better about this, but are the small things. Yeah, because like a big disaster, it's like can't be helped. It happens. Let's whining about it ain't gonna fix it. Let's just fucking dig in and we'll get through it.
Yeah.
Small shit. I'm like, this is so fucking stupid. It shouldn't even happen.
Yeah.
Why is this happening?
Small thing. And Mitch says the same thing. He said the small things in life make me wish I was dead. Like it's just fucking. It's like if they're
so small, it's so insignificant that it's just stupid that it even occurred.
Yeah, like I said, like we revealed, I'm self-conscious. So I'm wearing like long sleeves because but it really just looks like a bad sunburn. But it's gross. I feel gross.
Yeah, I feel gross all the time too.
So it's just it sucks, and hopefully they'll get back to me with the biopsy and the fucking
blood work. Isn't really episode 266, is it? Holy fuck!
Yeah, dude,
that actually just sank in.
Yeah. That's why I said 366 by accident, but it might as well be 366.
Yeah, it might as well be. We've been doing this for a long time. I realized earlier today that like this has been the most stable my life has been for like since I left my parents' house. Those last few years doing the show. Yeah,
that's good.
It's like, well, it is good. It is good. But I was noticing I was on my way to the store today to get flowers. I tripped over an uneven piece of sidewalk. I've been tripping in that same spot for 7 years now. And I still haven't fucking learned to avoid it.
That's so sad. But funny.
I know.
Well, when I was reading through that fucking, it's not the same, but doing the same thing over and over again. When I was reading through that fan fiction, he wasn't calling it roboticization. It was robotize.
Oh, I've seen that. I've seen people say that. I don't think that's right.
It
I've seen
can't
people
be
say
right.
that. I thought it was roboticized too, eh?
Yeah, it is roboticized. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless if it's a Berenstein situation where we're in our own alternate universe, I'm pretty sure it's roboticized.
Yeah. I subscribe to the Mandela Effect Reddit because it's interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty. That's what it's called. Yeah, the Mandela Effect.
I just like weird kooky stuff. That's actually one of the reasons I think whoever stole my phone, if they got a chance to look through it before I sent a remote wipe, would have been like,
what the fuck?
Would have been like witchcraft, aliens, conspiracies, ghosts.
I'd give you the phone back. I'd be
Mandela
like,
effects. It's like
this fucking
what
phone
the
is
fuck?
first. That's great.
But dinosaurs, Bigfoot, like whatever the fuck else. Like so, but yeah, it's stupid because all the posts on there are like, I remembered this thing wrong. I must be from an alternate universe. I'm like, are you kidding me? And like sometimes, like I like reading the conspiracy stuff where they're like, ancient Earth people were actually super advanced, and Atlantis is hidden in Antarctica, and that's why John Kerry was there. And I'm like, now this I gotta read.
Yeah.
But like for whatever reason, stupid shit where it's like, I remembered Star Wars wrong, so it must be the universe, not me. Kind of was like, okay.
Well, yeah, that's like that other thing where everybody, if I just watched a video guy making fun of this too, and I've said it on the show before, how I hate everybody's crazy theory for a show is that it's a dream or the person has a mental illness.
Ugh.
I'm like, fuck off. Like, that's not even creative.
That's one of the reasons that I grew to hate TV tropes as much as I did. Like, anytime you went to the theory section, it was always like, so-and-so is actually autistic because they did something awkward once in episode 4.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. Okay, Mitch, it's all right.
Yeah, exactly. It's retarded. But
I'm mad because like any time spent on that site has basically made it so like it's good because when I was editing Geekenstein and when I yell at Mitch, like I can tell when somebody is using language from that site that's not actually a real term.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you cannot write like that.
Yeah.
You cannot just regurgitate that site when you are writing a general article. Nobody will know what the fuck you're talking about. And even if they do, you'll sound like an idiot.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the bane of my existence. Because Wittgenstein had like that open submission, and it's like, you cannot use TV tropes terms.
Yeah, because no one's going to fucking know.
No one's going to know, and even so, it's not appropriate. You have to use your own words. Anyway. And there's a difference between recognized literary terms and things you would learn in English class and some bullshit that a hipster made up after watching Buffy for the 50th time.
I tried watching an episode of Buffy and I couldn't get through it.
Really? I'm scared that would happen to me.
And it's a problem with the show that I've always had, that every character
is cute.
Yeah, and sounds like they're all the same person.
And quirky. Yeah,
it's like the problem with the Marvel movies. Like the Marvel movies are like, he's gotten a little better with the writing like that, because I assume he also has help writing those movies, but it's like not everybody in a group is going to be clever and smart and quirky. Like not everybody and I'm not saying movies don't have to be so realistic as to life, where if you put 6 people together, they're not all going to have clever one-liners to answer to each other as they talk.
Well, even if they do, I think that it should be in different ways,
Exactly.
You can get a group of smart, sassy people together, but they still need to have their own personalities.
Yeah, and like, I mean, granted, I believe this was an earlier season of Buffy.
Which one was it? I could probably pinpoint it.
I don't know what I know what episode it was. It was the one where Angel gets his soul taken away, so he becomes an evil vampire again.
After he fucks Buffy?
Yeah.
Okay, well there's an ant on my head.
Yep.
That's the middle of the 2nd season.
Oh, that's okay. That explains it then, because obviously it was still new. So, but it was like Xander is such a fucking punk, and I guess he always was. But it was like he's like, I'm gonna go kick Angel. I'm gonna go kick his ass. And
I'd like to see you try, you little dweeb.
Oh my god! Like
it's supposed to be infuriating though.
Yeah. See, I kind of forgot. And I think I need to
like Xander develops by the end of the show. He's become a respectable guy, but at first he was kind of a twerp. But anyway, yeah, no, I definitely like, for me the yardstick of whether or not it pisses me off is whether or not I can imagine the writer sitting behind their keyboard patting themselves on the back for how smart they are and how clever they were for writing that.
Going
You know?
back to that
You know what I
fan
mean?
fiction.
Like,
Yeah,
like
well, I
there's
read that
just
fan
like-
fiction for an hour and a
Yeah.
half. It was definitely like that.
Or it's just like somebody comes up with something, some cute little quirky one-liner that, and they're just like, oh, I'm so funny, and it's like like it makes me want to puke, honestly. Like it makes me feel like physically pissed off, and it was Buffy gets away with it. It gets a pass in other Joss Whedon shows, at least from the early period of his career before he was completely crazy, because he had his own unique voice, but now everyone writes TV characters like that, and it's become just irritating.
Yeah, because everyone's got to be, well, basically, yeah, like you said, clever, quirky.
It's too much of a good thing. Everyone's got to be a smartass, and it's like you can just see the writer smelling his own farts.
Yeah, I mean, like
You can see them doing it, and it's like, I mean, it's too much of a good thing because, like, you know, I love The West Wing.
yeah,
For some reason, if every character talked like they were written by Aaron Sorkin, I would want to kill myself. If on every show, you know, it's fine when it's one show.
I thought you were going to say Westwood.
No, not Westwood, West Wing.
Yeah. But yeah, it would be like if every character. Wait, is Westwood the show? What am I thinking of?
You mean Westworld?
No, I'm trying to think of that cowboy show I was watching from.
That
What the hell is
Deadwood?
this? Deadwood, yeah. Deadwood. It's like if everybody was Swedgen. It's like if everybody. I mean, and everyone was an asshole in that show, but they're all assholes in different ways.
They're assholes in different ways. Everyone on Deadwood has a smart mouth,
Yeah.
but they're assholes in different ways. I think Justified is another good show where much in the spirit of Deadwood, everyone's got a smart mouth, but they still are unique. Where they kind of like, yeah, unskilled writers that can kind of blend together. Even like early Buffy, I think it kind of blends together sometimes.
A good example of different characters getting together is the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited cartoon, because you have different personalities like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, who's like the obvious, like, you know, he's the hopeful, funny guy. And Batman's the brooding asshole, but he can be funny sometimes because everybody can be funny. Everybody can tell a joke. But it's like, you know, the problem with DC now is that everybody's Batman. Everybody's a brooding asshole, and that doesn't make for a fun watch.
No, you can't homogenize things too much.
And I was watching something. I remember I was trying to find the Marvel cartoon Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which is very good. That's another good example.
My asshole's itchy.
Oh, sweet. So, and I accidentally found a different Marvel cartoon with all of those characters in it that was just something else. And they all literally sounded like the same character. Like if I closed my eyes, I wouldn't know who was talking. Like if it was Iron Man or if it was fucking whoever. They all spoke the same with the fucking one-liner clever bullshit. Very terrible. It's 9:01. Thank you for listening to Random Assault Podcast 266.
I'm sorry, this is probably our worst episode ever.
Well, or it'll be our best episode because, you know, like I said, surprises. I hope you enjoyed that Sonic fan fiction. Maybe I'll read the rest of it. I probably will read the rest of it because, as you know, we left off with Serena tracking down a robot SWAT bot that was huge, and we don't know what it was yet because then Kate showed up. So
I wondered why the fuck you were being so cagey about like what you were doing before I turned up. Like, who are you talking to?
I wasn't going to mention it at all, but then I was like, but it's funny, and I want to have something to talk about. But yeah, good stuff. If you like us, you found this, so you know
fucking check us out on youtube.com/random assault. Go to randomassaultpodcast.com. Do
like
things.
Mitch makes fun of us, but like you can literally type, you can Google Random Assault Podcast, and you will find everything we're on. It's like, why pitch the show? If you found this
on our YouTube channel, you can also find, it came from the internet, that show that everyone likes a lot more than us. You can have fucking Lonely Gods, a show about Doctor Who, mostly classic Doctor Who and audio dramas. So if you are that much of a gay, you can listen to that. Also, we have Let's Plays. Fucking Final Fantasy II just finished. Marathon will be going up next. Also, fucking filmed and finished to be posted are Jet Set Radio and Shenmue. And I guess
Marathon.
No, I said Marathon.
Oh, sorry. I didn't.
And I guess we're in the middle of Monkey Island now.
Yeah.
Recording wise. So we're a bit ahead. But anyway, there's all those shits coming at you. Better watch that coming at you.
Oh, I see what you did.
Yeah.
And if this is your first episode,
this is not what it's like normally. Please don't hate us.
But I always wondered what I would do if it was just me. I was like, would I just not record and wait for someone to show up, or should I just? Because at first I was like, do I just talk about shit? But I don't like doing that by myself.
Well, let's see. I mean, you got it's not so bad. You got a nice hour and a half of Sonic fan fiction. Then you got a random discussion about witchery, and then you got a discussion about fucking trying to make movies.
And I can't, like, Mitch is gonna ask for fucking show
banner
notes,
and
and
show
I
notes, and it's
literally,
like, I just-
oh yeah.
Well, Serena came from beyond time, and
So
there was a raptor.
So this is the end of the show. Maybe this will be the after show. We'll talk about what the. Actually, yeah, we need to talk about the. Thanks for listening. Now it's the
Thanks for
after
listening
show.
by Title and Banner.
Yeah, title and banner is. Oh God. I mean, I don't want to ruin the like. I have to. I can't tell Mitch why, because I want it to be a. Well, no, because that's I'm basically pulling an Alex, where I don't tell anybody anything, and it's a surprise to everyone. So I'll tell him what I did, but that he cannot mention it because I can't have it ruined. But then, what could the name of the fucking banner be? Oh well, it's funny that I mentioned the character named Serena, and you're a witch. Serena, the. How can we make a joke?
I don't want to make a big deal out of that though.
Oh, all right. Fuck. I'm so bad at this.
I usually think of really bad puns that everyone groans at though. So
yeah, but at this point,
that's all right. Original character.
yeah, because that kind of hints. Yeah, I like it. Original character. Do not steal. Okay, and then what should the banner be?
I think that it should be
us as Velociraptors.
No, well, I was gonna say that I should be like filming you with a camcorder reading the fanfic, but I think we've already done something like that, like where like way back when, like the MS Paint one of like the technical difficulties episode.
Oh yeah,
paint of you behind the camera. So you've already kind of done that, I guess.
Yeah, but we kind of did it in MS Paint, so it'd be nice to have Mitch draw an actual banner.
Well, why don't each of us have a camera and we'll be filming each other?
Maybe. Well, yeah, because then even Alex and Mitch Alex and Mitch show up on camera at one point. Yeah. Okay.
Hold on. My headphones unplugged. Hang on. Okay. Even Alex and Mitch, what?
They showed up on camera, so it kind of fits the theme.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So it's just you and me pointing cameras at each other.
Yeah.
And Kate filming each other, filming each other.
Yeah. Then I don't know, maybe in the background, Mitch and Alex can have their tongues in.
Maybe. I don't know if they want that to be a surprise or not.
Alex's surprise appearance. Yeah. Well, whatever.
Oh, I'm itchy again. I'm getting the itchies.
Itchy bitchy.
Yeah. I'm all crusty. All right. So yeah, that's it. I am.
Okay.
Like I said, it's like I'm peeling from a fucking sunburn.
That's gross. Do you want to make sex?
Yeah.
With me?
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Oh.
Maybe.